I hope you have your MSG close, Eva. Why would I have that close? Why would that be close? I'm not eating anything, nor am I cooking anything, so I don't just need to have MSG near me. Well, if Uncle Roger loves his MSG, he can keep SMG near him. I like MSG too when I'm cooking. If I'm not cooking, I'm not just gonna have it nearby. That's weird. Oh, you're one of the ones who gets migraines with MSG. I'm so sorry. That really sucks. This is a float down piano version of a romantic flight and test flight from How to Train Your Dragon. It is just a piano accompaniment to that score. Swag. Oh shit, that's Dancing in the Dreaming. I am doing well. A bit, yeah, blah blah blah. A bit yawny today though. I keep yawning. I keep yawning. Yawning. Okay, I don't know why I keep saying that. Alright, let's get to the jokes.
Okay. All you gotta do is deposit a fake check at a Chase ATM. Yeah. Just write down whatever amount, but you can withdraw the funds immediately from your account. What? It doesn't matter if you got like enough or whatever, it automatically clears the check. No way. I saw it online. It's like a real life money glitch. I mean, you wanna know what that's called? What? That's check fraud. That's fraud, you moron. No. You're literally writing out a fraudulent check to JP Morgan, one of the most powerful entities on the face of the planet. No, it's a money glitch. It's not a money glitch. It's jail time. Bert, you just robbed a bank. I didn't know that. You didn't know what? What did you think was gonna happen? They were just gonna secretly get away from stealing from a bank that has all of your information? Get someone on X. They see you. Oh!
The other day I was going to my local Starbucks, and when I got to the till, the barista not only had the audacity to be a woman, derogatory, but also talk to me. This is unacceptable. So in no uncertain terms, I screamed, "Excuse me, whore! I'm married! Do not flirt with me!" As I proceeded to show her my phone wallpaper and wallet photos, which were both of my lifelong shadow, and then I proceeded to growl at her until the police arrived to escort me out. So how was you guys' days?
Say, let's pretend this brain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt? Nope. Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
What does tofu and dildos have in common?
What?
What does tofu and dildos have in common?
The fuck? I don't know.
They're both meat substitutes. Oh! Peace! I'm out!
And now, the nations of the world who hate Johnny, presented by Eva. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam. Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now one piece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and Greece. Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman. Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq and Iran. There's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait and Bahrain. The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium and Portugal, France, England, Denmark and Spain. India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo, and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana. Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Niger, Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, and Nina, Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algier, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Myanmar, and Cayman, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Crete, Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan. Hello, everyone. How are we doing this fine, fabulous, fantastic Tuesday? It's a Tuesday. It's the day after 420. It is cold, it is rainy. At least where I am, I don't know about you guys. Elf taps ASMR, you damn right. The plap keyboard sounds, oh my. But yeah, I am thinking about because now that we have an actual sentencing, we have multiple appeals going through, and basically, Johnny is in the finding out of the fuck around find out stage. And I think it would be really cool if I could do something like PTV mode. Welcome to the chat, first of all. The elf got high yesterday. I get high every day. I didn't even get extra high yesterday because 420 is just another day to someone like me. Yo, it's freezing the other day, now it's in the 70s. That's pretty fucked. It's cold and rainy where I'm at, too. Nice. Let's go ahead and say hi to all the people. Mosquitoes, Naruhime, Festival, Naruhime, Vegihan, Shiojo, how's it going? Dis Fantasy, Isaac13, DJP, Ravenfire, Meteoric. And welcome. Poor, Poseidon, how's it going? Good to do. Jesus. Hato Donkun has it gone? Pharaoh Gaming. What is up? Spooky Shoe. Oh my god, she keeps hiccuping. She gets high living in the sky. Yeah, lives in the sky with diamonds, you know? All that stuff. So, Jeez, okay, hold on. Yeah? So now that I stopped talking, you stop throwing hiccups my way, huh? That's just retarded. Just having a chill day after 420, very, very nice. Very nice. We have 5 videos to be reacting to today, including one that's actually almost an hour long. It's about the Pinkerton Detective Agency. And I believe this is the actual Pinkerton detective agency, the one that was actually created and still, I believe, is in operation to this day. And yes, we're talking about the very same Pinkertons from Red Dead Redemption 2. That'll be the first one. Then we have some legal mindset fast facts on an update on the DoorDash girl. She has officially been indicted. And we also have a Beat Timmer video. Eric will love it. We finally launched a rocket into a tornado again. It looks like this was done in the last weeks of tornadoes. It's because we've been having a lot of fucking tornadoes the last week. And then we have a Tectone video where Tectone has seemed to drop his guise of the guard dog of VTubing, and he is instead taking shots at Bao. Can confirm I never slept with Tectone. Okay, Nosador. And then finally we have a Uncle Roger. An Uncle Roger video. Jamie Oliver destroyed fried rice again. I don't know how Jamie Oliver could destroy fried rice anything worse than the first one we watched, but you know, apparently we have something coming up. So we'll get to see what's going on there. Pinkertons were in BioShock Infinite, I believe. Oh, that's cool. Tectone only going after Bao because he's simping for powder. Alright, Child Joe, calm down. I know that you, look, I know that you simp for Bao heavy, and it's fine. But understand that just simping for somebody does not mean they're not, you know, excluded from criticism where it's, you know, where it's called for. Magma Thoughts, how is it going? Hope you're having a good time. Legends of the Coast sent the Pinkertons after someone recently, if I recall. Yeah, they did. Dunka for the raid last night. Yeah, no problem. Colonel Kimpachi, how's it going? Fried to show my friends your songs. Took me forever to find them in past string. Colonel Kimpachi, if you join my Discord, there is a covers channel where I actually upload most of my covers, and the covers that I debuted on the Kick Karaoke concert will actually be uploaded probably sometime tonight. And that's like 15 extra songs that I've done. So, all I can remember is I need to be bred my over. Yeah, I'm sure. You heard that, Sayo Joe, and your brain turned to mush. Nah, simply means overlooking all faults no matter how big. Everyone knows that. Okay, you know what, Ravenfire, you might be right, but geez. Keeping your Oshi honest will keep your Oshi happy and safe. Exactly. We do have some updates on Johnny Somali. Nothing in Fast Facts form that I can present quite yet, but I do have a couple things that I'll probably actually mention also tomorrow on Autism. But basically, we now have 3 different appeals that have been officially submitted with the South Korean justice system, where Ramzi Khalid Ismail's case is concerned. So Johnny Somali has actually filed in his appeal, and I don't think he really understands what that means, because an appeal takes about 6 months to process in South Korea. It does nothing but really extend the time that he's going to remain in detention there. Now, not only is he doing this for some whatever fucking reason, the prosecution has also finally put in their appeal, which I imagine Legal Mindset will go into in a fast facts or something at some point that we'll probably look at. But also, equally important, the attorney of Bong Bong, one of the victims of the deepfake charges that Johnny was actually responsible for, apparently the attorney has also filed an appeal on behalf of Bong Bong, because apparently one of the big things that the judge actually seemed to consider in their sentencing was the fact that Bong Bong did not seem overly distressed or impacted by the deepfake. So the attorney basically submitted until went, look, just because they were composed and professional, as they should be, doesn't mean that this didn't affect them. And this is insane that you would give them such a light sentence when, remember everybody, the minimum sentence in the sentencing guidelines for one deepfake charge in South Korea is minimum jail of like, I think 6 months. He's got 2. Which means that he should be, based on the sentencing guidelines that the judge fucking read through himself, it should be he's in there for minimum of a year, if not 2 years. But for some reason that hasn't happened, and I cannot begin to guess as to why the judge technically ignored the law in regards to the sentencing guidelines for these violations. But he has, and it looks like it's good ground for appeal, both for Bong Bong and for the prosecution. Johnny Somali was extremely stupid to try and appeal his for a shorter sentence because it's going to take 6 months just to process the appeal. So by the time his appeal gets looked at, his sentence is technically already up. Prosecution and Ramsey have also both a good guess. Yes. I used to DM with her on my old Discord a couple years ago. Okay. Yeah, right now. Hi, Eva. I love Bong Bong. At least 4 women need to press charges. What? I'm so confused. There's only 2 charges regarding the deepfakes that have anything to do with anything, and it has to do with a male streamer and Bong Bong. So I don't know where the other 3 women are gonna come from to press charges, but that's not anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about. Are sentencing guidelines law-based or simply guidelines? They are technically guidelines. Like here's okay. So technically speaking, a judge could choose to give more or less than what the sentencing guidelines actually explicitly state. But to do that risks chits and grounds for appeal. And it is my argument, and I believe the argument of the prosecution, Bong Bong's lawyer, legal mindset, the Ramsey, the Somali conviction team. I think it's all of our opinions that the sentencing guidelines were ignored to an egregious, almost negligent degree. Like, yeah, I get that the judge has some sway in some decision, but we're talking a 2.5-year difference from the recommended from the prosecution, and over half a year, shorter than the fucking recommended minimums when it comes to these charges. So that's kind of my issue here. Not only that, but there's several aggravating factors that Ramsey is clearly in violation of and have committed, and clearly have not been applied to the sentencing. So, while sentencing guidelines are just that, they're guidelines, to ignore the guidelines for what the law establishes is opens you up to appeal and sets a bad precedent. But without further ado, let's go ahead and figure out what's going on with America's most infamous investigators. This is done by Windigang. He's got over 860,000 subscribers, and this is posted 8 days ago. So let's go ahead and get rid of our background music. Let us set up our viewing screen. Here we go. Bada bing, bada boom zoom.
If you've seen any of my historical videos on any of my channels, then you may have heard me talk about private detective agencies. While some still exist, they used to be far more popular and far more controversial. Well, in the mid-19th century, the United States was a patchwork of rapidly growing cities, expanding frontiers, and budding industries.
Okay, hold on. I'll do a quick... GP Raidenfire says, if I understand correctly, the 6 months doesn't actually start until the appeal is over. So Somali has basically suspended his sentence and remains in detention for an additional 6 months while this appeal goes through, and until it actually goes through and is seen, his actual, his sentence time doesn't actually start ticking down.
Centers. The federal government was small, and most law enforcement was handled by local sheriffs whose authority often ended at county lines. Criminals exploited these jurisdictional gaps, while counterfeiters circulated forged bills that destabilized local economies. If law enforcement agencies aren't talking to each other, then it's easy to get away with a lot. In the years before the police were a professional public institution, and before federal agencies like the FBI dominated criminal investigations, there was another force force that kept the sleepless hours and watched over rail lines, banks, and presidents. That force carried a stark motto: "We never sleep," and its very name inspired both reassurance and dread. This was the Pinkerton National Detective Agency, or if you've played Red Dead Redemption 2, the guys who were trying to stop the Vanderlyn gang. Alan Pinkerton, a Scottish immigrant and Cooper by trade, saw an opportunity in this lawless environment. Having fled Scotland, Pinkerton arrived in Illinois with a conviction that self-reliance and vigilance were necessary for survival. He lived near Chicago, working with abolitionist leaders and even offering his home as a stop on the Underground Railroad, and in
Well, it makes sense that you can appeal from wartime serve because, you know, you want to make sure that the judge has some mechanism of accountability. You know, we really don't want judges giving grossly light sentences to egregious crimes.
1847, an accidental discovery changed his life. While gathering wood on an island in the Fox River, he stumbled upon a camp of counterfeiters. Alerting the local sheriff and helping to capture the gang, he realized that an individual could make a difference where official authorities faltered. This early experience inspired Pinkerton to formalize his detective work. In 1850, he partnered with attorney Edward Rucker to create the Northwest Police Agency, which soon rebranded as the Pinkertons National Detective Agency. Their mission was simple but ambitious: provide professional investigative services wherever local law enforcement was ineffective or non-existent. The agency offered surveillance, undercover work, and armed guards to banks and railroads, operating across state lines and emphasizing a moral code that forbade agents from inducing crime. Its emblem, an unblinking eye accompanied by the motto, "We never sleep," was both an advertisement and a warning. In fact, this phrase would later give rise to the term private eye.
Hold on. Wow, thank you so much for the 50. Wow, that was a big one. Hold on. Let me actually bring up my chat in a different window so I can see what you're saying. I hate the bold ones. Well, that's weird. Okay, thank you so much for the 50. As a grandson of a coal miner. Oh, this is gonna be good. Hold on, I'm actually leaning forward here. This one seems like it's gonna be good. Let's see here. As the grandson of a coal miner, I want to point out the Pinkertons had no part of the coal wars, like the Baldwin Phelps monsters did to us. Don't fool yourselves, the Pinkertons are still knee-breaking thugs. Look up the Battle of Blair Mountain. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure it's gonna cover quite a bit here, but like the Pinkertons were little more than like an enforcement militia for the rich. And yes, they did help the government, and I'm sure the initial mission statement and the intent behind this Scottish immigrant creating this detective agency, it was relatively pure, right? But with all pure things, you know, as soon as it gets a little bit of corruption in there, you know, one rotten apple can ruin the whole bunch, as it were.
Cementing the Pinkertons in popular culture, as well as becoming what armchair detectives would call themselves when deciphering a true crime documentary case. But the agency did more than inspire language. It collected the world's largest repository of criminal records in the 19th century. It also standardized detective work and helped shape modern policing methods. The agency's history reads like a sweeping panorama. A series of detective stories, spy plots, labor laws, and public scandals all rolled into one of the most impactful and controversial institutions of all of law history. And that's a history that we're going to be talking about today. So hello everyone, today we're talking about the story of the Pinkerton Detective Agency. Pinkertons are something that a lot of us have probably heard of before, or at least heard of a private investigator. But I'm sure a lot of us don't know where that story comes from, and why it was so controversial that we don't see a lot of it anymore, as well as changes in federal law enforcement that made the practice less favorable. But it's such a
Well, okay, so I will say, as somebody who has a background in law, I'm gonna tell you right now that the private investigative industry is not hurting like at all. Sure, it's not as powerful, you know, you can't create a fucking army of people using a detective agency, sure. But like, for instance, right, to be a licensed PI in California, you actually have to have legal work under your belts. I think it's about 2,000 hours. of legal work signed by an attorney or the license holder of the private investigator, company that you're working for. So basically, it still very much exists, and it's very pervasive in just about every state. Yeah, it's taken on a different form, but I wouldn't say that the private investigator industry is hurting or on the heels of complete oblivion or anything like that. Hi, Eva. I'm late as usual. Don't worry, the lost soul. We'll get to see you as always.
Unique and interesting part of American history that I don't want it to be one that we forget about. So if that sounds interesting to you, then stick around after the ad as we talk about the highs and lows of America's first private law enforcement agency. Mother's Day is just around the corner, and for the first year, I have to get a gift for my mom and my wife. And I'm the channel, their link will be in the description, and we are now back to the video. We are going to go ahead and get into it, but as always, thank you for watching. So, to appreciate why Alan Pinkerton became such a formidable figure, we have to understand the world he left behind and the one he entered. Born in Glasgow in 1819, Alan grew up in a family
Alright, so Glasgow, Scotland. God, rough place.
that experienced both political turmoil and personal tragedy. His father, William Pinkerton, a police sergeant, died during a demonstration advocating for universal male voting and broader political rights for the working
Oh, Jesus Christ.
class. The Chartists, as they were called, were feared by the British establishment. Protests were met with repression, and activists faced arrest. In a twist of fate, Alan himself was rumored to have been a government informant, though the evidence for this is ambiguous. Whether he left Scotland because he was wanted by the government for being a Chartist, or if the rumors were true or believed to be true and his fellow activists no longer trusted him, either way, his immigration in 1842 was a turning point in his life. Alan carried with him both the trauma of witnessing state violence and a willingness to challenge authority. These experiences would compound and inform his commitment to law enforcement and his readiness to operate outside government structures when he deemed it necessary. Settling near Chicago, Alan Pinkerton found himself in a boomtown built on railroads and commerce. With no national currency, residents relied on privately issued banknotes known as wildcat money, a haphazard medium of exchange that was easy to forge. If there's no universal currency and the towns are deciding their own currency, well, who's to say I don't show up and suddenly have a bunch of my own? To support his family, he worked as a cooper, which is a skilled craftsperson who made and repaired wooden barrels and casks. The trade took him into the countryside for timber and into markets where he saw the confusion that these proprietary currencies caused, but more on that later. Alan's connections with abolitionists not only led him to quietly convert his cooper shop into a stop on the Underground Railroad, but also taught him how to operate with discretion. Those lessons proved invaluable when later, in 1847, he ventured onto an island in the Fox River to collect timber and came across a camp of counterfeiters. He watched their operation, notified the sheriff, and helped plan the raid. The resulting arrest earned him a deputy sheriff's post in Kane County and brought him into contact with businessmen who would soon hire him to investigate other crimes. By 1850, Alan Pinkerton and Chicago attorney Edward Rucker formalized their collaboration under the banner of the Northwest Police Agency. Their detectives did more than catch counterfeiters. They also served as armed guards for the railroads and banks, two crucial entities for connecting a young and developing nation. People need to get somewhere and they need to have money when they get there. Among the Pinkertons' early clients was the Adams Express Company, a private courier service that ferried cash and parcels by stagecoach and rail across vast distances. This meant they were moving large sums of money through remote depots and isolated tracks, so it helps to have guards with you. Keeping those shipments safe demanded more than a lone bank clerk, so Adams Express turned to Pinkerton's men for protection and investigative muscle. In this way, the agency's business model married crime fighting with corporate security, laying the groundwork for an enterprise that would soon expand nationwide. At first, Alan offered consistent fee structures and insisted on meticulous record keeping. This prevented the corruption associated with reward-based thief takers or bounty hunters. Because of this, detectives for the agency were paid at a per-day rate rather than for collecting bounties, eliminating incentives to fabricate crimes.
That's actually pretty good. Because one of the big issues with these old, detective, police force, private companies is if they were paid, is usually what would happen is, okay, well, it's a collection of bounty hunters. And when you have a collection of bounty hunters and you're using the bounty system, well, now you have incentive to create crimes or to, basically set crimes up to be committed. That way a bounty can be issued and then you can fulfill that bounty. Much worse fucking thing because it's rife and prime for corruption. But if you actually give them a daily salary, or even, back then, a weekly salary part would have been all right as well. But if you're paying them a standard wage, that is not incentivizing them to, oh, go get more bounties, go get more crimes, well then you're obviously going to have less setups.
This time, it wasn't uncommon for bounty hunters to commit crimes and then blame them on someone else, or to have a fall guy commit a small crime who eventually the reward money will be split with. But since the Pinkertons were paid by the day, well, that meant there was no incentive to keep this con going. Pinkerton also crafted a strict code of conduct. Agents had to possess spotless reputations, refrain from inducing crimes, and avoid entrapment. This emphasis on professionalism distinguished the agency from disreputable detectives and earned it contracts that expanded its reach beyond Illinois. By the early 1860s, Allen's detectives were traversing the country by rail and horseback to investigate crimes, protect property, and gather intelligence. One key to the agency's success was Allen's obsession with record keeping. He built one of the earliest centralized files on criminals, an unprecedented collection of mugshots, physical descriptions, and dossiers that his detectives could consult across jurisdictions. In an era before fingerprinting or standardized police records, such a resource was revolutionary. Or unless someone recognized you, you could just go to the next town over and have spotless reputation. This strategy demonstrated Allen's foresight. He understood that data was power, and that controlling information meant controlling narratives. The trove not only helped his agents recognize and apprehend repeat offenders, but it became a selling point when courting clients. Pinkerton could argue that his detectives were better informed than the local sheriffs, which made them more effective. That reputation for thoroughness drew high-profile contracts and placed the agency at the center of some of the most dramatic events in U.S. history. But Allen Pinkerton was as much a public relations strategist as he was a detective. He understood that clients would entrust their secrets and money only to a brand that they perceived as professional, trustworthy, and relentless. To cultivate that brand, Allen embarked on a publishing spree. Between 1875 and 1884, he released 17 storybooks. Each volume featured the agency's
17 books. Gee, wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. The murder of Enarance Bauer. Oh my god. He invented true crime? He invented true crime documentaries, guys. Like, that's more or less the work of detection begun. Over $50,000 from an unexpected telegram. Rumors and vague suspicions. This is crazy. This dude literally invented true crime documentation. That's,
logo of the
what
wide awake eye
fuck?
and the slogan, "We never sleep," reinforcing brand recognition. The stories inside were a blend of fact and fiction, depicting Pinkerton detectives as resourceful heroes who anticipated criminals' every move. One chapter, for instance, might describe the delicate art of stealing from hotel guests without waking them. Another might detail how pickpockets would clean out wallets and then return them so victims remained unaware. These anecdotes served a dual purpose. They entertain readers and also showcase the craft of detection, thereby legitimizing Pinkerton's claimed expertise. Almost like Dr. John Watson writing about his adventures with Sherlock Holmes. The stories presented his detectives as resourceful heroes, always one.
It's kind of funny you mentioned Sherlock and Watson, given he literally just made that correlation as well.
One step ahead of criminals. And having the heroes of the story be Pinkertons and the Pinkerton agency publishing the books themselves, everything you read about comes from them and reinforces the idea that they can stop these things. Did Allen use those very books to argue the opposite? In prefaces and asides, he scolded, quote, unthinking people for believing that detectives possess supernatural powers and insisted that real success came from patient observation and, quote, clean, healthy, honest methods. That tension, feeding the appetite for sensational tales while demystifying the work, was deliberate. By acknowledging the popular superstition and then disavowing it, Allen positioned his firm as uniquely qualified, exceptional enough to stop any criminal, but grounded enough to be trusted. If the books maintained that the Pinkertons were just a step above the rest and they had a supernatural ability to stop crime, well then legitimate clients probably wouldn't be interested, because he sounds like a snake oil salesman. But if the Pinkertons emphasize that they're nothing special, they're just good at their job, well that's the kind of client that a business could trust. And this strategy worked. His book simultaneously advertised his agency and shaped public perception of the detectives, and his name became synonymous with private detection, as competitors rushed to imitate his branding tactics. Another important aspect of Pinkerton's marketing was the way he presented gender roles in espionage. He famously employed Kate Warren, widely considered to be the first female private detective in the United States. In his writings, Allen highlighted the unique advantage female operatives possessed. They could feign distress to distract male targets, gain access to households under the guise of domestic work, and slip under the radar of those who underestimated women. Now, while Allen also expressed concerns about women becoming morphine addicts, something that in retrospect is Kind of funny. His decision to employ and promote female detectives broadened public understanding of who could be a spy and how intelligence work could be conducted. Allen's inclusion of Warren's exploits in his books served to not only be a new outlook on women in unconventional workplace roles, but also as another selling point. His agency was innovative enough to harness the talents of people who would otherwise be ignored. In due time, Allen's skill at crafting compelling stories would intersect with national history in ways that blur the lines between fact and fiction, which we'll get to shortly. All of this talk of detective books and controlling the narrative can be fun when we're all having fun, but not so fun when it becomes propaganda. The outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861 was a crucible for the young detective agency.
Let's be real. It was always propaganda. Like, it might be something that they are doing, but propaganda can be truth, just framed to make a group look better or worse, depending on what your intent is. Now, whether or not you use truths or hyperbolized truth or straight up lies in your propaganda is another matter. But whether or not it's true or not does not mean that the framing isn't propagandized.
Secessionist plots and fears for the president-elect Abraham Lincoln's safety thrust Allen onto the national stage. According to his own account, Allen uncovered the Baltimore Plot, which was an alleged conspiracy to assassinate Lincoln as he traveled to his inauguration. Acting on intelligence gathered by Allen and Kate Warren, Lincoln's travel itinerary was altered, and he passed through Baltimore incognito. Warren, disguised as someone named Mrs. Cherry and Mrs. Barley, infiltrated secessionist circles and learned that the agents intended to kill Lincoln as he changed trains. So she purchased 4 sleeping car tickets and accompanied Allen and Lincoln to an overnight journey, pretending to tend to an ill brother. Throughout the trip, Warren remained alert, a living embodiment of the agency's promise that its eyes never closed. Or at least, as claimed by Allen Pinkerton. See, this daring rescue to save Abraham Lincoln's life became part of Allen Pinkerton's lore, but historians have long debated its legitimacy. Skeptics like Ward Hill Lemon, law enforcement officer and personal bodyguard to Abraham Lincoln, accused Allen of exaggerating fragments of truth in order to get closer with the president. Lemon claimed no arrests were made and suggested that Allen had conjured a dreadful plot. According to Lemon, the president later regretted the clandestine trip through Baltimore, believing he had fled a phantom threat. If you have a detective agency and you want to get close to the president, well, saying that you found a plot to kill the president and you'll keep him safe is a pretty good way to do that. However, if this was indeed true, eventually, Lincoln at the time certainly did not feel that way. Following the Baltimore trip, Lincoln hired the Pinkerton Detective Agency to organize a secret service for...
Okay, so regardless of whether or not there were skeptics about this plot, it doesn't seem to really matter because Lincoln was obviously impressed enough with the Pinkertons' ability to keep him safe and to keep him watched that he hired them for what is roughly considered one of the first secret services,
obtaining military intelligence on the Confederacy and sometimes to act as his bodyguards. These efforts predated the official establishment of the United States Secret Service in 1865 and laid the groundwork for modern protective services. So modern bodyguard systems and the United States Secret Service are based on Lincoln hiring the Pinkertons. During the Civil War, Allen Pinkerton adopted the alias Major E.J. Allen and worked closely with Union General George McClellan. His agents infiltrated Western Virginia and Kentucky, gauging sentiments and estimating troop strengths. When McClellan took command of the Army of the Potomac, Allen followed him to Washington, D.C., where he surveilled potential Confederate sympathizers among the capital's social elite. One notorious case involved Rose O'Neill Greenhow, a well-connected socialite who entertained prominent politicians and passed information to Confederate authorities. Allen placed her under house arrest and later jailed her in the old Capitol prison. Greenhow was eventually convicted of espionage and deported to Richmond, which is such a weird sentence to say. Like, during the Civil War, Virginia was effectively another country, so this person got deported to Virginia. Truly, a fate worse than death. While these operations elevated Allen's stature, they also exemplified the blurred lines between legal prosecution and wartime repression. Operating as a private agency with quasi-governmental authority, the Pinkerton Agency conducted surveillance, arrests, and interrogations without clear oversight. The Civil War also further showcased Allen's penchant for public relations. A photograph taken at Antietam in October of 1862 captures President Lincoln standing alongside Allen and General John A. McClernand. This image symbolized the agency's integration into national affairs and became a fixture in Pinkerton offices. Allen sent copies of the photograph to prospective clients to emphasize his proximity to power. He also boasted that he had both made his reputation and earned substantial profits during the war. I mean, if you're trying to market yourself as an agency that can be trusted and that has the authority to act on the behalf of the law, then you can understand why taking a picture of yourself with the president and a general, because you are now the president's personal bodyguard and the guy he hires to keep him safe, would be effective. The war experience validated private detectives as valuable assets to the state and provided financial resources, a cachet that would fuel the agency's post-war expansion. Yet the same qualities that made the Pinkerton agency so effective in wartime, things like autonomy, secrecy, and readiness to use force, would later make them a source of great controversy. After the Civil War, the nation's attention shifted westward. The railroads continued to expand, and the vast territories of the American West became both an economic frontier and a refuge for lawless gangs. I mean, the country was having trouble policing things in the East. If you were out west where the railroads hadn't made it yet, you could get away with anything. With local law enforcement stretched thin, banks and express companies turned to the Pinkerton agency to protect their assets and pursue criminals across state lines. With the agency specializing in tracking train robbers and stagecoach bandits, the Pinkertons were essentially acting as bounty hunters for corporate clients. One early challenge came from the Reno Gang of Indiana, pioneers of train robbery in the United States. They targeted the Adams Express Company, who promptly hired Allen's detectives to recover its losses and punish the offenders. Almost effortlessly, the Pinkerton agency captured John Reno and secured his conviction. But as they pursued other members, masked vigilantes intervened by taking the law into their own hands. In one instance, a vigilante committee seized 3 captured gang members from Pinkerton agents and hung them, had them hung, whatever. Later, a special train full of masked men arrived at a jail, shot the jailer, and hung the remaining Reno brothers, cutting telegraph lines to prevent news from spreading. Allen's own son...
Yeah, that's that Wild West justice.
Justified the lynchings by saying locals were terrorized and eager to eradicate the gang. I mean, people were terrorized by the gang, so the Pinkertons show up to arrest the members. But to communities that had a personal vendetta against the gang members, well, maybe jailing them wasn't enough. So maybe you just bust those guys out of jail so you can kill them yourself. These events underscored the chaotic blend of private and mob justice on the frontier. Pinkerton agents captured criminals, but community members often circumvented the legal process, leading to summary executions. As the agency grew in scale, it operated in a moral gray zone, where its pursuits of justice sometimes collided with local vigilantism and the absence of due process. However, no outlaw tested Allen's resolve quite like the chase for the infamous Jesse James and his associates. By the early 1870s, Jesse and Frank James had achieved a Robin Hood mystique in Missouri, robbing banks and trains and evading capture. When the gang robbed a train at Gads Hill in 1874, Adams Express Company once again turned to the Pinkertons. Pinkerton detective Joseph Weicher attempted to infiltrate the James household disguised as a farmhand, but he was eventually discovered, as was his body shortly thereafter. Pinkerton operatives were then ambushed on a country road, resulting in a gunfight that killed a Pinkerton agent, a local official, and gang member John Younger. As you could imagine, these losses enraged Allen. Pinkerton wrote to his staff that blood had been spilled and that the gang must die. Even after the express company withdrew its contract, Allen vowed to continue the hunt as a personal mission. The climactic event came in January.
Oh, okay, so this sounds a little bit like, the writers of Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of took from this, because there is a point in the story for Red Dead Redemption 2 where, Cornwall, which I think it's Leviticus Cornwall, that's right. That's the main guy that you're stealing his oil, you stealing his fucking trains, you steal his stagecoaches. I mean, it's pretty bad. So, Leviticus Cornwall hires the Pinkerton Detective Agency to take you out. It doesn't work, and at one point, they're no longer hired by Cornwall or anyone to take you out, but at that point, it's personal for Agent Ross and the others. Whoever wrote Red Dead must be a history buff, yeah. If Nanolis, Shaiwali, and Bao got exposed, they will unleash their own version of the Samson option, taking every VTuber down and streamer down with them. How the fuck would that work?
Of 1875, when Pinkerton agents surrounded the James family homestead at night. That night, the agents tossed a specially designed incendiary device intended to illuminate the house and frighten the occupants into surrender. Think of it like an 1800s version of a flashbang. Instead, when it came through the window, the family pushed the device into the fireplace where it exploded. This explosion killed the James's boy's younger half-brother and blew off the arm of their mother, Sorrelda Samuels.
Oh shit. That's not good.
Unfortunately for Allen, Jesse and Frank weren't even in the house. So you had the James brothers, who were outlaws but had this mythic persona around them. And then the Pinkertons, fueled by personal revenge, go to their house and end up killing a young boy and blowing off the arm of an innocent woman. Only for it to be revealed that the people they were looking for weren't even there. Public outrage, naturally, erupted like a volcano. What was supposed to be a precise arrest turned into a brutal, bungled raid that maimed innocents and galvanized sympathy for the outlaws. Newspapers condemned Pinkerton's heavy-handedness, and residents of Missouri, who already resented corporate power, rallied behind the James gang. Allen withdrew from the vendetta, Canada, and Jesse James would not be killed until 7 years later in 1882, when a member of his own gang betrayed him. If that wasn't enough, Allen's pursuit of Butch Cassidy and the Wild Bunch in the 1890s also revealed the thin balancing act between persistence and overreach. Detective Charlie Siringo spent years tracking Cassidy and his gang, forcing them into constant motion. The agency collected rare photographs of gang associates like Etta Place.
This is another one, because I remember Leviticus Cornwall and the Vandellich gang are actually based, like both of them are based on several different people and several different gangs. Cassidy's gang was another gang I remember being constantly correlated to being an inspiration for what we see with the Vanderlyn gang,
showing a sophisticated intelligence network that rivaled government services. But Cassidy ultimately escaped to South America, eluding capture. The Wild Bunch remained charismatic rebels in the imagination of the public, while Pinkerton agents were seen as relentless, often unfair, pursuers. Needless to say, the general public's view of the agency in the West was, at this point, mixed at best. Law-abiding citizens and clients praised the Pinkertons for bringing order and retrieving stolen property. Yet many in the frontier community saw outlaws as folk heroes who defended local honor against distant corporate interests. Pinkerton agents were often labeled as paid assassins and tools of the railroads. This dichotomy, heroes to some, villains to others, would only intensify even more when the agency turned its focus from chasing criminals to suppressing labor movements. Wow, would you look at this? Something that started with the best intentions would then turn to corruption. It is as if there is a paved road with intention.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying earlier.
And I can't remember where the road goes that is paved with good intentions, but I'm sure it's somewhere good and not bad. Right. The Industrial Revolution transformed the United States in the late 19th century. Factories multiplied, railroads crisscrossed the continent, and heavy industry reshaped urban landscapes. With these developments came new social conflicts like long hours, dangerous conditions, and exploitative wage systems. In the coal fields of Pennsylvania, many miners were immigrants who faced discrimination. These workers were often paid in company scrip, redeemable only at company stores, effectively binding them to their employers.
Yep. Sold my soul to the company store. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, cause I can't do. I owe my soul to the company store. Do. Pinkertons don't run late. That's why they're paid $18 a day. The Butterfield in 310 to Yuma. 2007.
You work for years of your life and get paid in Monopoly money that you can only cash in at the Monopoly store. So if you want to find a job somewhere else, good luck starting over. Wives feared daily for their husband's safety, and there were instances of bodies returned to families without ceremony. Laborers began to organize, forming unions and secret societies to demand better conditions. Industrialists, fearing lost profits and sabotage, searched for ways to undermine these movements. The Pinkerton Agency, with its reputation for infiltration and force, became the go-to instrument for corporations seeking to control their workforce. One of the earliest and most notorious interventions involved the Molly Maguires. The Mollies were not just a shadowy club.
This is a good one. This is a really good one.
In the hills, but a loose coalition of Irish immigrant miners and their supporters. Many had fled the Great Famine and British oppression, only to find themselves in Pennsylvania company towns where the mines paid them in scrip, leased them cramped housing, and left their families perpetually indebted. Discriminated against for being Irish and Catholic, they sometimes responded to dangerous working conditions and exploitation by...
Okay, so it wasn't Pinkerton food stamps. He's talking about the condition of certain corporations and factories, mining towns and stuff like that. The company would pay their workers in money that was only good at the company store. This is where the old song, 16 tons, came from. Now, it wasn't the Pinkertons that were giving this money out. It was the companies that were using the Pinkertons as enforcers in these horrible conditions.
Sending threatening letters to foremen and, in a handful of cases, by carrying out acts of violence. Local elites christened this resistance as the Molly Maguires, borrowing a name that originally came from secret societies in Ireland. Allen assumed that the American Molly Maguires were an extension of Irish secret societies, though the label may have been a convenient catch-all for crimes and conspiracies. So to infiltrate this hidden world, Allen deployed James McParland, who adopted the alias of James McKenna and embedded himself in mining communities from 1873 to 1876. McParland attended union meetings, observed rituals, and built relationships, all while reporting back to his handlers. His assignment culminated in 20 miners being arrested and executed for murder and conspiracy. But the Molly Maguire operation reveals the ethical complexities of Pinkerton methods. According to critics, McParland provoked or allowed violence to occur to strengthen the case against his targets. During his assignment, the number of threats, usually in the form of letters to mine bosses allegedly signed by the Mollies, experienced a sudden spike. Obviously, if if the undercover guy shows up and then the group gets really violent, this raised suspicion that some of them had been staged. This infiltration also bled into extrajudicial violence. In August of 1875, Allen wrote to his superintendent urging the formation of a vigilante committee to take, quote, fearful revenge on the Mollies. In December of that year, a vigilante raid occurred at Wiggins Patch. 30 masked men, acting on intelligence from McParland, attacked the home of James and Charles O'Donnell, pistol whipping their mother and shooting their sister. McParland, being the undercover agent who gave this information, was outraged that women were harmed, but felt that male victims, quote, got there just deserving. The violence set the stage for a series of trials that were, by any fair measure, a travesty. An attorney named Franklin Gowen and other coal company lawyers prosecuted the case themselves. The state supplied only the courtroom and the gallows, so the entire trial was being held by the coal companies, who these people were.
How the fuck did that get away with? Wow, God, look. When you, oh God, I hate it so much, but when you hear about the fucking shit that people were managing to pull with like fucking unique courts and kangaroo courts, company courts, and fucking weird ass fucking laws passed in the 1870s, excuse me, that changed, that basically just made slaves legal again, but instead of being called a slave, they were called a lifetime apprentice. Like, I don't know how the fuck we made it through the 1860s and on to the 1900s legally. I have no idea how the fuck we managed to mire our way through that bullshit, because trust me, there was a lot of bullshit going on over there.
Acting against, allegedly. Many of the 20 miners who were hanged were convicted on the strength of McParland's testimony alone, with little or no independent defense. Judge John P. Lavelle later called the proceedings a, quote, surrender of state sovereignty, noting that a private corporation had investigated, arrested, and essentially prosecuted its own employees. While the industrialists celebrated the suppression of the Mollies as a triumph of law and order, many labor advocates and Irish Americans saw it as an industry-backed frame-up. They argued that Pinkerton agents acted as provocateurs who fabricated or encouraged crimes to justify their presence. They noted that violence attributed to the Mollies escalated only after McParland arrived. These accusations remained largely confined to local circles, and the broader public was slow to sympathize. Nevertheless,
Shia Joe, it was quite literally window dressing for indentured servitude. Nasko Nikolov, thank you for the €1. Hi, Elf Baby. You should stream on Kick more often. I would, but I had to figure out, like, what I'm gonna stream on Kick.
the operation proved a template for how Pinkertons would engage with labor conflicts. Emboldened by success and spurred by profit, the agency expanded its union infiltration and strike-breaking activities throughout the 1880s. The list of strikes involving Pinkertons...
Everybody, Ethel is currently harvesting bull testicles. That's what that means.
...reads like a chronicle of the labor movement. In 1884, the Hocking Valley Strike erupted in Ohio.
Oh shit, the fucking... Okay, I'm aware of this one. Let's see if it... Okay, here we go. Following a wage reduction from 70 to 60 cents per something after many Hocking Valley coal mines, something in 1883. The Ohio miners amalgamated, something struck on 1884. Operators responded by offering an even smaller tonnage rate. Any requirement or returning mine. Oh my god. The strike idled 3 in 46 miles of Murray. Wow, okay,
in Ohio,
okay.
Coal miners protested wage cuts. Pinkerton guards were hired to protect company property and ensured that replacement workers could continue operations. Clashes ensued, resulting in the destruction of property and injuries. That same year, Alan Pinkerton died unceremoniously after slipping on wet pavement and biting his tongue, which led to gangrene. That's right, the head of...
He flipped on concrete, bit his tongue bad enough to get gangrene and fucking die. That's insane. That's crazy.
The Pinkerton agency died because he bit his tongue when he fell. His death was both mundane and ironic. A man who survived political uprisings, treacherous outlaws, and wartime espionage succumbed to an everyday accident. In 1885, the agency became embroiled in the McCormick Reaper strike in Chicago. As Pinkerton men approached the factory, bystanders jeered at them. The agents responded by firing into the crowd, killing several people. Though 4 Pinkerton men were indicted, prosecutors declined to pursue the case. The violence escalated in subsequent years. In 1886, during a railway strike at the Lakeshore Railroad, guards hired by the Pinkertons, similar to the year before, fired into a crowd, killing a protester. It happened again a month later, during a stockyard strike, this time killing a bystander. Despite eyewitness testimony, the grand jury failed to indict the agents. In 1887, the United Labor Party issued a statement.
Thank you for the 2 Canadian. Oh, baby, my toonies glow in the dark. Wait, what? The toonies? I don't know what that is. You know, I used to have on my ceiling, I used to have those glow-in-the-dark stars that you would put on the ceiling. And I had one that I had put on... No, I put one on the end of every blade of the ceiling vent, so when you turn it on, it looked like a shooting star. Yeah, I'm crazy.
Condemning the agency as a wandering band of murderers. Labor leader Terrence Powderly.
Oh, Canadian mints produce $2 coins that glow. That's fucking cool as shit. Okay, so that's what you meant by toonies, because I'm like, what the fuck is a toonie?
He decried Pinkerton men as outcasts from society, hired assassins devoid of decency. He argued that industrialists employed them because they lacked faith in their own managerial abilities, preferring to outsource, quote, delicate and important work to human brutes. Powderly further contended that the existence of the agency depended on creating fear among the wealthy, that without conjuring threats, the Pinkertons would have no purpose. While the leader of the Labor Party would undoubtedly carry some biases, Powderly was not alone. The Nation magazine declared that the appearance of Pinkerton men in any civilized country would fill the population with shame. It described the agency as a band of mercenaries and a sign of social regression, likening them to medieval barbarism. By 1888, the term Pinkerton had become shorthand for any armed guard or vigilant group employed by American industrialists. The agency's armed presence in labor disputes was so common that Pinkerton men were equated with strikebreakers in general. Critics argued that the agency's success in infiltrating and suppressing unions depended on fabricating conspiracies and instigating violence. It was common belief that if the Pinkertons investigate someone, there will be arrest and executions, because if they aren't doing crime naturally, the Pinkerton agent will just make up crimes that they're doing, or get them to commit a crime that they can then convict them for. In essence, the Pinkertons became a private army available to those with the means to hire them. This escalated labor conflicts and undermined trust in law enforcement. This incendiary environment set the stage for the most infamous confrontation in the agency's history, the Homestead Strike. The Homestead Strike of 1892 stands as a watershed moment in both labor history.
Yep, 1892, okay. I was wondering when the watershed strike was, because... Yeah, by 1899 is when Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place. Kind of like towards I think the very beginning. It's like January or February. So with the turn of the millennia, the Pinkertons, reputation should have been about as in the toilet as we seem to see in the game, so I'm happy to see that.
History and the history of the Pinkertons. The strike erupted at the Homestead Steel Works in Pennsylvania, owned by Andrew Carnegie's Carnegie Steel Company. Carnegie, often depicted as a philanthropist and industrial visionary, left day-to-day management in the hands of Henry Clay Frick, a hardline executive known for his tough stance on unions. The workers were members of the Amalgamated Association of Iron and Steel Workers, one of the strongest trade unions of the time. Negotiations over wages and working conditions broke down, and Frick decided to force the issue. He erected a 12-foot fence around the mill, complete with rifle loopholes, water mains capable of blasting scalding water, and electrified wires.
Holy shit.
Workers dubbed the fortified factory Fort Frick, a name that signified both their resentment and their recognition that they were facing a military-style operation. Behind the scenes, Frick secretly negotiated with the Pinkerton agency to hire 300 armed guards. He intended to break the union by reopening the plant with replacement workers. And on July 6, 1892, 2 barges carrying Pinkerton men approached the mill via the Monongahela River. Strikers had been watching the river and
oh my god, they have a navy.
And when the barges arrived, confrontation ensued. And by confrontation, I mean a gunfight. The crowd on the shore traded shots with men aboard the ship and vice versa. After 14 hours of fighting at Homestead, the Pinkerton agents, trapped on their barges, hoisted a white flag. The crowd refused at first, but eventually a Union leader negotiated a surrender. The agents were disarmed, marched through the town, and forced to run a gauntlet of jeering residents who bested them. The battle left 9 strikers and 3 Pinkertons dead, and nearly every agent wounded. The strikers cheered at this, but you could imagine how the state of Pennsylvania felt about this. The strikers' victory was short-lived. Within days, Pennsylvania's governor ordered the state militia to Homestead. The troops escorted locked train cars of replacement workers into the mill, and the strike dragged on for 4 months before collapsing. The workers returned without
Jesus.
union representation. Homestead's defeat showed that even a strong union could be broken when private force and state intervention combined. Public reaction to the Homestead confrontation was intense. Newspapers questioned the morality of hiring a private army, and the New York Times investigation alleged that the Pinkerton reserves were recruited from petty criminals compelled to serve as strikebreakers. The image of armed barges in a militarized
Looney's
factory
welcome.
ignited a national debate about the role of private security in labor disputes. Within a few years, public opinion shifted. What had been seen as a moral force protecting society became a despised tool of capital. Sure, a lot of the problems people had with working conditions came down to the industries that were hiring them and enacting these conditions and the state that allowed them to carry on like this. But the Pinkertons were always the arm that the state and the industry would use, so they got a lot of the hate, as you can imagine. Unionists seized the moment to condemn the agency. At Senate hearings on labor violence, workers testified that the English language was, quote, inadequate to express the hate that they felt towards Pinkerton detectives. One skilled worker
God
called the
damn.
hiring of Pinkertons, quote, an unjust and unlawful way of forcing us into submission. Yet the hearings also gave space to industrialists to explain why they turned to the agency. In the eyes of Henry Clay Frick, local law enforcement could not protect the property or the non-union workers he planned to hire, and he believed he had a right to keep the mill running. Robert Pinkerton himself, son of Alan Pinkerton, testified that his men were simply hired to maintain order and defend property, but his defense could not stem the tide of public condemnation. I mean, people are mad that your people shot at strikers who wanted better working conditions. It's not a good idea to be like, well, think of the money. I mean, we were trying to protect the company. Isn't that what we all want? The fallout from Homestead reached the halls of Congress. A House committee investigated, taking testimony from law enforcement officials, capitalists, and workers. Their final report concluded that the Pinkertons had grown into a private military force under the control of whoever could afford their services. The committee recommended restoring state authority over labor conflicts, rather than relying on private interests. In other words, when these issues arise in the future, the state should decide what happens, rather than the company just hiring a bunch of bullies to make everyone quit. As a direct response, Congress passed the Anti-Pinkerton Act in 1893, prohibiting the federal government from hiring employees of private detective agencies like Pinkerton. 23 states enacted similar laws. The act didn't shut down Pinkerton, but it curtailed the agent's federal work and signaled that policing belonged to the public. After Homestead, many factory owners tried to head off labor unrest by tinkering with their own operations. Some embraced scientific management, measuring every motion on the shop floor and training employees to follow the one best way to do a job, believing that efficiency and fair pay would diffuse grievances. Others turned to benevolent industrialism, building paternalistic company towns like Pullman, Illinois, where brick houses, parks, and sanitary facilities were meant to create loyalty. Pullman promised to eliminate conflict through careful planning and uplift, but when wages were cut and rent stayed high, the workers struck in 1894. President Grover Cleveland sent federal troops to suppress it, resulting in more fatalities. The pattern of violence followed by state
Grover Cleveland is one I hate him so much.
intervention persisted, and the Pinkertons became symbols of an era when private force was used to confront public dissent. I mean, I have an entire video on the main channel about one of the most famous strikes in American history, the Battle of Blair Mountain. The private agency involved there wasn't the Pinkertons, but it's certainly their ramifications. Issues like this existed outside of the Pinkerton agency. The Pinkertons were just the ones to do it first, and therefore, the ones whose names are most associated. The Homestead disaster and the Anti-Pinkerton Act marked a new turn of the tide, and in the 20th century, the agency faced a changing environment. Local and state police forces professionalized, adopting techniques such as centralized record keeping and interstate communication that Pinkerton had pioneered. In 1908, the federal government established the Bureau of Investigation, later known, of course, as the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI, to conduct national law enforcement. The creation of the FBI reduced the government's reliance on private detectives, while signaling an ideological shift. Law enforcement was to be a public good managed by accountable agencies, not to serve the interest of whoever has the most money. I mean, that's still what it does a lot in reality, but that's not what's on the label anymore. Additionally, the Anti-Pinkerton Act restricted the agency's ability to secure federal contracts, which had been profitable during the Civil War. The combination of legal constraints and improved public policing diminished the agency's central role. The decline in violent strike breaking did not mean an immediate end to Pinkerton's involvement in labor conflicts. In the 1930s, Senator Robert La Follette launched an investigation into the use of private detectives as labor spies. Robert Pinkerton II, Allen's great-grandson and then president of the agency, testified in 1936 that companies had paid the agency $1.75 million for espionage services since 1933. In other words, companies were paying the Pinkertons a lot of money to act as spies in their own.
All the way into the 1930s. Wow. 1936, and the fucking descendant of Alan Pinkerton is like, yeah, no, these companies paid us like fucking over $1 million to fucking do this shit. Are you kidding me?
Workforce. He admitted that Pinkerton operatives were embedded in practically every major union: 5 in the United Mine Workers, 9 in the United Rubber Workers, 17 in the United Textile Workers, and 55 in the United Auto Workers. The agency even spied on the Assistant Secretary of Labor during a 1935 strike. These revelations embarrassed the Pinkertons.
Holy shit.
And in 1937, the company vowed to end its labor investigations. By then, the political climate had shifted. The Wagner Act had granted workers the right to unionize, and public opinion favored collective bargaining. Violent strike breaking was no longer acceptable. Courts and federal agencies intervened instead, using injunctions and arbitration to resolve disputes. Facing declining relevance in detective work and labor espionage, the agency reinvented itself. In the 1920s and beyond, it offered asset protection, uniformed guard services, and corporate fraud investigations. By the 1960s, the term detective was dropped from the company's branding, and it simply became Pinkerton. The shift signaled a move toward risk management and corporate security rather than privatized sleuthing. This strategy proved effective. By 1995, yes, like 30 years ago, the agency employed 50,000 people across 250 offices worldwide. It was no longer a gun-toting detective bureau, but a modern security firm providing services such as guarding office buildings, investigating insurance claims, and consulting on espionage countermeasures. In 1999, the Swedish security conglomerate, Securitas AB, acquired the Pinkerton agency for approximately $384 million. Integration into a multinational corporation completed the transformation from a frontier detective service into a global security provider. The Pinkerton name remained, but its function and public image were vastly different from the days of Alan and Robert. Even after its transformation, the Pinkerton name carries weight. For labor organizers and union members, it remains a...
Wasn't it like last year, the year before last, that, what was it, Magic the Gathering? Blizzard of the Coast literally sent the Pinkertons after some fucking guy over some card nonsense. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like quite literally, oh, cool, nice to see the Pinkertons are still doing the bidding of big corporate entities.
Symbol of strike breaking and corporate oppression. The historical memory of Pinkerton agents firing into crowds and infiltrating unions resonates in contemporary struggles over workers' rights. In some circles, Pinkerton is still used as a nickname for any heavy-handed corporate security. When reports emerged in 2020 that Amazon hired Pinkerton operatives to spy on warehouse workers in Spain, the reaction was swift outrage. That's right, kids. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Amazon, 2020, a few years ago, hiring Pinkertons to spy on workers sounds like it came out of some futuristic, dystopian Blade Runner sci-fi world, but it's the one we're living in, for better or worse. Although today Pinkertons operate with legal frameworks and presumably without the use of gunboats or cannons, presumably, the idea that private agencies monitor workers' organizing efforts is a reminder of a long history of conflict. And the underlying methodology of Pinkerton's earlier days still resonates with modern law enforcement. When the FBI was created in 1908, it absorbed Allen's innovations like centralized records and interagency communication. But it may have inherited some of the agency's tactics as well. In the post-9/11 era, the Bureau dispatched informants into Muslim communities, sometimes devising fake plots and supplying targets before swooping in to make arrests. Critics say these sting operations, which were championed as, quote, forward-leaning preventative prosecutions to ostensibly prevent terrorism, blurred the line between surveillance and provocation, ensnaring people who might never have acted without government encouragement. That this occurred during a time of paranoia and hostility towards Islam-practicing Americans was not lost on many. And if we're just talking about a list of post-Pinkerton federal entrapment, then the list is nearly endless. The same questions arose in 2020, when federal prosecutors announced a plot to kidnap Democrat Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer at the hands of right-wing extremists, weeks before the presidential election. Headlines proclaimed this was evidence that right-leaning politics gave way to violent extremism. But it soon became clear that such a plot would never have been planned without the FBI's direct involvement. Of the 26 or so men who participated, at least 12 were FBI informants, some of whom took the lead and pushed others into moving forward with it. From just these two examples, with many more almost certainly in existence, it's clear that the clandestine methods pioneered against the Molly Maguires remains alive today, and the debate over whether they protect the public or undermine justice continues regardless of what political faction is in the crosshair. The Pinkerton story also endures in popular culture. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle drew inspiration from James McParland's infiltration of the Molly Maguires when writing one of the Sherlock Holmes novels, The Valley of Fear. The unblinking eye logo has become an icon of private detection and espionage, appearing on t-shirts and even in the branding of fictional detective agencies. Not to mention that the term private eye comes directly from this logo and this motto. The dichotomy between myth and reality persists to this day. On one hand, Pinkertons are portrayed as tireless defenders of order, and on the other, they're seen as embodiments of ruthless corporate power. This duality ensures that the agency's legacy remains contested, and one can't deny Fascinating. Institutions often evolve in unexpected ways. Alan Pinkerton fled political repression in Scotland, helped fugitives in the Underground Railroad, and built a detective agency that promised to uphold justice. Yet by the late 1800s,
FBI, open
his
up.
agency was suppressing labor movements and serving corporate interests that exploited the very workers he might have once championed. This inversion shows how goals can shift as organizations grow, and often diverge from the original intent, especially as they gain power. As it's often said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Oh, there's that saying
Indeed.
about intentions and paving roads. It leads to hell, which isn't a good place at all. Alan's tale also illustrates the dangers of privatizing coercive power. The eventual passage of the Anti-Pinkerton Act shows a recognition that private forces should not wield unchecked authority. Yet the persistence of corporate and government surveillance shows that the tension between public oversight, private security, and rule of law remains unresolved today. In contemporary debates about privatized policing, from gated communities to corporate data collectors, the Pinkerton example offers cautionary lessons about accountability and the potential for abuse. Today, many of the rights that workers enjoy, such as the 8-hour workday, collective bargaining, and workplace safety regulations, are taken for granted. These rights were won through struggles that often involved violence and suffering from all sides. The Pinkertons were major players in those conflicts, sometimes obstructing progress and sometimes inadvertently accelerating it by provoking backlash. Recognizing this history brings appreciation for the fragile gains of past generations. And when we learn that Amazon's contract with the Pinkertons and the strategy of
That's
modern
crazy.
intelligence agencies echoes tactics from over a century ago, it becomes clear that the past is never truly past. Indeed, the eye of the Pinkerton logo remains unblinking, fulfilling its promise that the agency would never sleep. That is the controversial yet fascinating history of the Pinkerton Detective Agency.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
pretty
this is
good.
a fascinating thing to look into. I mean, we've all heard about the Pinkertons, at least if you're familiar with any Old West story or like early 1900s spy narrative. We know they're popular, but a lot of us don't know how they became so popular. And growing up in Appalachia, coal mining towns, I obviously have some buy-ins against them. You know, a lot of friends and family members have stories of their grandparents getting shot at by the Pinkertons or some private detective company. But even looking at it objectively, I think it's pretty clear why the country as a whole turned away from them. Now, did we turn away from things like entrapment and use of force and coercion?
No, of course not.
You know, who's to say really? But I think it's a fascinating history and one that should not be forgotten. And I appreciate you sticking around to hear about it. And above all else, thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments if you enjoyed these historical deep dives. I certainly do, but maybe you're tired of hearing about it.
Yeah,
But
they're
if there's a
pretty
story
good.
that interests you, we can probably find out something about it. So let us know. New videos here Mondays at noon. Again, you can check out the new channel When to Glitch and the OG.
Very nice, very, very nice. Yeah, don't forget to give them a like, a follow, a subscribe, do all the things. And that was a pretty good little look into the Pinkertons. Which is great considering we're probably going to be playing some more Red Dead probably Thursday. Detective hour, drawing to the close now. It's simping hour. Well, you can calm down. Because the Bao Situation is fucked is actually the second to last video. And we just finished the first. Now, we're going to instead move along into a legal mindset, covering the fact that the DoorDash girl has finally been indicted. She is facing prison and ruin. So let's go ahead and get this. Trust me, if anyone has has no idea who the DoorDash girl is, you're gonna see. Also, hello again, Magmafox. 'Tis a berry. Yes, it is a berry over there. The Pinkertons. Oh, DoorDash girl is the more at the end. Yeah, so DoorDash girl was the... Okay, what? Here, I'll just tell you. We'll just get into it.
Hey guys, I just lost my job. The police are doing nothing. This is a man's world. I'm the victim. Remember? I'm the victim.
Olivia Henderson, aka DoorDash Girl, is absolutely finished after her criminal indictment has come down, and now she's going to have some major legal consequences. We're going to talk about that today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you
Noise,
to be
noise,
your own
noise.
judge. I'm Andrew
She's
Esquire,
not
American
memeing.
attorney.
Okay, Xiaojo. She's not memeing. She is being... I can tell from her tone of voice she's trolling. Okay. I need you to stop typing. Xiaojo. Xiaojo, you need to stop typing right now. You have no idea the background here. It's actually extremely serious. She's facing serious prison time for what she did. And you need to listen before typing anything else. Okay? Your radar is completely off. And I'm telling you to shut your mouth open your ears and we're gonna listen. Because no, this is not a troll.
This is a Fast Facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest in illegal news. So for those that may have missed it, this is our defendant here today, Olivia Henderson. She is the DoorDash girl, and she became quite famous when she entered she essentially pushed open the door on a house that she was delivering DoorDash to, and she saw a man inside that was half naked. Now he was passed out from alcohol consumption, as the facts will later go.
That's f***ed up.
But indeed, Olivia claimed, hey, this man SA'd me, right? And
Yes, after she made this video where she pushes open the door, films him, puts it online for millions to see, she claims that this man sexually assaulted her. There we go. I see some people are starting to remember what happened here.
And this guy was out here essaying me, and therefore the police need to come. Everybody needs to pay me. I need to be, I'm the victim here. She's claiming to be victim.
I'm the victim! Remember? I'm the victim!
Well, despite her Me Too-esque claims, it in fact was her who ended up getting in criminal trouble because of this.
Couple charges.
Miss Henderson here, Olivia Henderson, was arrested after recording and posting images of the man on TikTok. So she took those images, took those video, posted on TikTok.
Yeah, so you're looking at like distribution or dissemination of private material, but you're also looking at unlawful entry. You're looking at a lot of things here because remember, she crossed the threshold to record that and she pushed open the door. If she walked up and the door was wide open, it would probably be a different argument. But the police in their investigation proved that the door was it was closed, but it wasn't latched, and she opened it up fully. And then, raced through the threshold to record that shot. So you're looking at multiple serious charges here.
Got all around, right? People were able to see the man, see his house. In the original video, his house number was visible. So you had all of that visible, exposing his location, his person, him while he's passed out unconscious.
I'm going to keep telling my story. Like, this is the only justice I'm getting, is exposing this man and having posted that video and it has gone viral. Like, now he can live with shame and embarrassment if people have seen it and knows who he is or where he... You know what I'm saying?
So she was arrested on that back last year, and it's been quite a while, but she was finally indicted by a grand jury that's just...
There we go. Indicted with 2 felonies, unlawful surveillance and distribution of an unlawful surveillance image. Honestly, she got off light with what she could have been charged with. Behavior like hers is even more dangerous than swatting. No, seriously. It is incredibly unhinged behavior. That, I don't blame you, Xiaojo, for going, there's no way she's serious right now. This has to be a troll. Because in any other fucking reality, someone fucking screaming, I'm the victim like that, it looks like an SNL skit. It absolutely does. But fucking believe it or not, this is real. She actually thinks she's a victim in this situation. Even if the door was open, inside the dwelling is still invasion of privacy. Yeah, no, it's unlawful surveillance.
Citizens that are drafted out to do the indictment instead of the district attorney. There's kind of those 2 different methods of bringing an indictment on 2 felonies, one of unlawful surveillance and another of distribution of the unlawful surveillance image. And that's absolutely huge news, and that's absolutely something that was breaking right now. But one thing that very few people are talking about, we're going to talk about today on The Legal Mindset, is the massive civil liability she now clearly has under New York state law. Let's get right into it. So let's look at the
Oh, look at this.
The indictment and the charges that kind of rolled down. So here you see the file from the New York State with Olivia Henderson, birth year 2002. You see the indictment, the incident was on October 12th, 2025. The arrest was in November by Oswego City Police. Her defense attorney, she's going with the Public Defender's Office. She does not have...
Oh no, girl. Girl, you're not gonna fucking make it out with a public pretender. Okay, and I'm joking. Obviously, public defenders, they are fucking the backbone of the justice system. They're overworked, they're overbilled, they're overhour, whatever of the over words that you want to put on them, they absolutely are. But because of all these things, going with a public defender is just, oh man, it's at least better than going pro se. I will say that much. It's by not an incredibly wide margin, but like for your average person, sure, public defender's probably good.
Anything but a public defender at this point. And obviously the assistant district attorney is on the other side of that with her next.
So the nice thing is, Shiojo, many courts actually have resources available there at the courtroom that not only offer, cheaper alternatives for people who maybe, I don't want a public defender, but I don't have a lot of money, right? Trust me, because they're already at court during your arraignment, basically be like, hey, I need some time to get a hold of a lawyer or whatever, and trust me, the court will help you find a lawyer, even if it's not a public defender. There's lots of resources available at the court that would allow you, access to an attorney.
Appearance there in May. So all of that's coming up. She's got this indictment, which means, hey, a grand jury felt there was enough evidence to proceed on this, to bring her to trial. And what that also means to me is not only is this going to go forward with felonies, but also there's potential civil liability. Now, why do I think that's a big thing?
Yeah, a lot of courts call it legal aid. Not every state, obviously, not every jurisdiction, but usually they'll have there's a legal aid department in a courtroom. A courthouse, right? You go there, you usually can find the resources you need.
That's a huge thing because this is her first time offense for the criminal charges. Those will probably be light. As much as everyone wants to say this might be 8 years in prison, etc., it won't be. This will probably be a slap on the wrist at best with probation or a split sentence. The criminal charges are honestly going to be a joke when it comes down to it, and she's probably going to enter into a plea deal. But when you look at the civil side and the potential civil liability, particularly under the special New York law that nobody has talked about so
okay. Hey, Andrew, what the fuck is this special New York law that you're talking about? Because this shit seems fucking crazier than some special Californian law. I forgot that this did take place in New York, but still, what is this special law, dude?
Far, that is absolutely going to destroy her.
What is it?
So, turning over to that, after we look at the charges here, once again, the dissemination of a surveillance video and the unlawful surveillance. When we turn over to the massive liability, we look at New York Civil Rights Law, Section 52B. This is for allowing a private right of action for non...
Okay, so this is like that Florida anti-revenge porn law. Holy shit. Okay, so next Civil Rights Law Section 52B allows a private right of action for non-consensual dissemination of intimate images, directly covers secret recording and posting images of unclothed bodies without consent, allows for injunctive relief, compensatory damages, punitive damages, and attorney's fees. Okay, yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know, but I imagine the guy who this happened to, the victim, he probably he probably just wants to move on, right? But, dude, seriously, like, you could really put, you could really throw the book at her in a way that you won't have to worry about this again. If you know what I mean. I don't know if he has enough money to do it, but with it being a civil right of action, he can probably hire a civil attorney on a contingency or something. Like, dude, seriously, this would be the best fucking thing to do.
Non-consensual dissemination of...
I do it. No, exactly. No, I would, it would be my ultimate... Look, in my opinion, you should fucking do it. You should fucking look for that attorney to file for these fucking right of action and get it on contingency. You don't have to pay anything up front. But trust me, this is oh man. This is a good one. This is a good fucking right of action to bring against this crazy bitch.
Intimate images, otherwise known as, people know it as revenge porn. Now,
Yeah,
this statute
revenge
is not just for stuff posted online. It's not just for ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends. It's really for any sort of image that is being posted without somebody's consent. And it covers directly on point secret recording like this. This is something that fits spot on with this and the posting of unclothed bodies without consent. And mind you, this situation, it's very interesting because of the
See, that's kind of the thing. I'm like, I would be surprised if attorneys aren't reaching out to this dude. Well, no, there's usually laws against soliciting as an attorney, but seriously, dude, oh my god. I hope he's looking for a lawyer.
genders and people not coming to think of this, but if the genders had been flipped here, if that had been a woman inside and a male DoorDash driver, certainly I think people would have thought about this civil liability right away. But I think perhaps people thought, okay, because it's a man and there's SA thrown out, there's this kind of Me Too-esque allegation, we're not going to think about this. But this is very, very direct and very, very on point.
Yeah, no,
and this
it
allows for
definitely
massive
applies.
injunctive relief, compensatory damages, punitive damages, and
Yeah, but how much money does the DoorDash girl have? You know, I don't think she had, I mean, she's gonna be, she doesn't have any money to pay, you know? You can bring all this up against her, but like, what is she gonna actually reasonably be able to pay you?
Attorney's fees. And because of that, this will absolutely ruin her life. So let me jump over to my judgment. So Olivia is likely going to enter a plea deal or a verdict with a light sentence as a first-time offender.
Yeah, probably.
The felonies are not going to land her 8 years in prison. She'll probably get a couple months at best. More likely, she's going to get probation and some sort of time outside of prison, maybe community service, etc. She's not going to be serving the 8 years. However, if this man brings a civil lawsuit using this law, and we're just talking about this one law, they could potentially recover $500,000 in compensatory damages and up to $2 million in punitive damages just on this. That's kind of an average outcome when you've got something that has gone viral, that has been widespread on the internet, that exposes his name, very intimate, obviously intimate details, his location, etc. All of those factors point to a massive claim. And not only that, but this is very similar to the case of Vitaly, where Vitaly defamed someone, calling them made a criminal accusation, much as she made that Me Too-esque allegation about SA. In that case, and when we're comparing the two, in both cases, you have potential defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Those both apply here. Same in the Vitaly case and same over here. So if you pile that on top of the liability under 52B, you're looking at potential multi-million-dollar lawsuit here that could absolutely ruin her. So I think, in my conclusion, that she absolutely deserves the maximum punishment. And this is something that needs to happen so that copycats don't try to do the same thing.
Look, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we're gonna have a lot of copycats in this situation. The internet universally sided with this poor guy and pretty much immediately dogpiled on the girl. I really don't think there's, I mean, if there was gonna be copycats, we would have already seen copycats, you know? So I'm not concerned that this is gonna cause some kind of epidemic of women filming men, you know, at their place of residence and then claiming SA. I think this might be a one-off, you know, or at least a very rare situation.
Or try to post this information online, I think should be absolutely discouraged. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one. Make sure you guys have got your cabbage plushies. They are still available.
Yes. I know they are, but they don't go until September, and I'm very sad. Some people don't care about whether their 5 minutes in the spotlight is fame or infamy. That is true. That is very true. Alright, so looks like Mini Orc is here, which is good because we have a weather video here from Reed Timmer, posted 8 days ago. So this is not the most recent most recent line of storms that have hit the Midwest. But the one that happened, the line of storms that happened before this most recent one did. So we're talking a week, like 7 to 12 days ago, right? That's what we're talking about. So This is titled, "We Finally Launched a Rocket into a Tornado Again." So it looks like they got some kind of probe rocket from their Dominator, their TIV, which is basically just a tornado interception vehicle. But it looks like they have some kind of drone that they're able to shoot out of this chassis like a rocket, and it will actually collect data as it's being, grabbed and jostled about by the tornado. Now, that's just my guess, but yeah.
And it might be moving a little bit towards us. Yeah, that rocket's ready. That's a big-time tornado. Oh! That thing is crazy. It's heading right this way. Is everybody in this gas station's taking shelter? All right, guys, let's go get it.
Oh my god, oh Jesus!
It's April 5th in Dixie Alley, and we're on a big tornado, moments away from firing our rocket inside it.
There it is up in there, see it? That white curtain, it's wrapped in there, right behind that. You can see the right edge of it. Here we go, folks. All been leading to this moment. We're gonna launch on this. We can get in front of it really close, which we are. There it is. There it is.
Damn.
Big hug. It's the real deal,
Yeah, did
folks.
he just say big hug?
Coming into New Albany, get in your safe place now.
With 900 miles of tornado watches, this tornado is a particularly dangerous situation, and it's coming right at us.
Big time tornado, we're getting the notch.
God
we
damn,
have a
look at
clear
that
view, we'll line it up here.
Okay, Farrell Gaming. Look, you might be right, but you're also out of line. Yes, they are probing the sky. Are you happy now? Are you fucking happy now? You're not wrong, but you're disgusted.
We might launch!
The notch is where the winds are being sucked inwards, and it's a small moving target on a tornado. But the rain is in the way.
That's it. See that rain curtain? Yep. That white rain curtain, the tornado will be tucked right behind that. That might even be it.
The tornado is moving at 40 miles an hour right at us.
That's
When
pretty
it's close,
zippy.
we'll launch the rocket and probe inside the tornado and escape.
Means it's logging. So green, just stand by. Red, white flashing means logging.
It's coming right at us.
That rocket's ready. We're logging data. We're moving
Alright,
this a little bit.
Pointing at it. You're good.
Man, look at that thing. It's badass.
I think we'll launch any second. We're pointing at it on the front stream.
Pointing straight ahead.
Wrapped in that rain.
We need a lot of lift when we do this. I'm gonna wait till she's right on top of us. You say when.
Okay, okay. Get ready. All right, let's launch it.
Right now?
Launch! Get ready to launch!
Yep.
Cover it right in there.
Launching.
Oh, there she
Wrap.
goes.
Pop!
Wow, that was cool.
Pop! There, oh, popped! It popped! There it is! Look at it go! It's going! It's riding it!
Wow, they got it.
Go right the inflow! It's gotta wrap around!
They fucking got it, though.
It needs to...
Okay, so that's really smart. I see what they're doing. Papa Elfpire used to do something he hasn't done in a while. But he used to go to like Hobby Lobby or Michael's and stuff, and he would get himself one of those big ass fucking model rockets. And he would spend a lot of time building the rocket, and he would paint it and stuff like that. So, and then we'd go out to the park and stuff, and we'd launch and recover these things. But what is cool about this rocket is he's actually, basically what's going to happen is it's going to launch it in the direction of the tornado. While it's fucking launching, as soon as it loses enough velocity, it's going to automatically deploy its parachute. And then the rotation that caused by the wind and the vortex anyway is gonna fucking pull that fucking parachute into the fucking storm system, and then boom, because that thing has all that fucking, all those sensors that's collecting all that data, you have a very fucking effective probe.
Wrap around! Lift! I don't think it made it in!
It didn't.
Too early!
Oh, it didn't make it in, damn.
Not too early.
I was
Damn.
wondering. Got it flying off into the...
Yeah.
See if I can get...
drone hit the almost had it. Yeah.
We missed, and now the tornado is here.
There it is! Rain curtain's coming!
Let's go.
Well, you guys missed, now just,
Got southeasterlies.
But the probe is one of a kind.
Yeah, I just got an update from it 10 seconds ago. Yeah, it's right here in this.
We got easterlies. It's still in the info.
There it is, right on the ground. Right there. I'll get it. Here, hold on.
Hold on, there might be a... Right here, hurry! It's right here, west! Go! Run!
You guys should probably have more than one rocket.
He's got the probe!
Alright, go. Door's open. There you go.
My gosh, it's getting bad.
It's flickering! Oh, big car! Here it comes!
God.
While we were focused on cars and outside the Dominator, the tornado slipped behind us. We doubled back to get ahead of it and for another chance.
That thing shimmies. Yeah. Should be just west. All that. Yeah, we got back in easterly. We're back in it. Got some polo green. That tree got snapped up to the left. It's definitely a tornado coming through here.
I bet they have more than one, but maybe only one set of
There's
sensors.
roof damage to buildings.
There is.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Oh, house.
Any bad damage?
No, nothing. No bad damage.
High up here, though. Yeah. Oh, power line! Oh,
Well,
there goes
careful.
the rear view, side view. All right. Tornado damage. Side mirror's gone. Side mirror just exploded. Because that thing caught it perfectly like a bass, and it just freaking ripped it. Dominator 3 got flossed.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
We're
pretty
blocked,
good.
and the tornado lifts shortly after. But 900
Damn.
miles away, an even bigger tornado setup is brewing.
Gotta be kidding me, 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 gotta be kidding me.
We drop off Will in Oklahoma to upgrade the rocket for tomorrow, and we get to Nebraska just in
Okay.
time.
Tornado watch. has
Season
an
total,
issue.
almost
Oh, you see the
4,000
red
miles
box?
they've driven.
Goes all the way from basically Grand Island, Nebraska.
And guys, the season's just started. It's not even officially started. Not really.
all the way to Brooks and Guthrie Center, Iowa. I got Rogers and Galay on today. Did you hear that, Carson? What? Matt's got Rogers and Galay on today. That's the Lucky Cologne. Yep.
In the tornado watch area, 3 different storms fire, so we have to choose.
Well, we have 3 cells right now, and we do have a tail end Charlie down there as well.
A tail end choose.
Alright, so, chat. Which of these 3 storms are you choosing? I'm kind of looking at the... I don't know. It's a tie between... Yeah, I was thinking about the southernmost storm as well. That's the one that I would go for if I was chasing.
Choose.
Well, we have 3 cells right now, and we do have a tail end Charlie down there as well.
A tail end Charlie's the southernmost in a line of storms, and we like it because it has access to clean air. But we have to go through this first.
You got the deal.
That was a baseball.
Oh, look at him bouncing.
These are huge.
Whoa!
Oh my goodness.
Whoa, big baseballs! Oh, these are big.
What's happening, Ray?
Whoa, that was
bigger than a baseball.
That's gonna come right in. They're in the core. We got dust coming down.
These are
high base
huge.
circulation. You can see them out falling all the way from the mesocyclone. Look at those white dots!
Oh my goodness.
Wow!
That's some pretty
Holy
intense stuff.
cow!
They're like exploding, man. Those are massive.
Ah! I took it in the shoulder. Coming in, using the iPad as a shield. Oh, that looks awesome on the rear.
Pretty cool. On the back camera,
Yeah.
like the rainbow just goes over the Dominator.
You'll send me
That's
the
a
track
cool
of
shot.
the Ponca City tornado?
Now through the hail core, we're in the bear's
Okay.
cage, and the storm's intensifying.
Hey, now look at that. That is beautiful. Look at that structure. Holy shit. Yeah, that is not something you want to see. You know what's crazy? When we were driving from the mountains down like through the town that's closest to us into the rural area where we live, I was watching, I shit you not, and I pointed out to my dad. I was watching a small supercell start to form. like struggling to, but it was starting to take on shapes that I can't describe any other way. The wind was moving in a fucking in the right way for one, and I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm watching a supercell try to develop. By the time we were about at our house, it was kind of falling apart structurally, but like I was watching, I'm like, no, don't you fucking try to spawn a tornado where I am. Like, what the fuck?
Without our rocket today, we'll actually have to go inside the tornado to measure data.
You can just keep sending on this east. Tornado Lord! That hook's getting pretty nasty. Victor! On the right! Look at it go!
Oh yeah.
That's doing something. There it is. Oh, big surge out of the north! Right there! It's right there!
Yeah.
Yep, got a
Careful there, buddy. Oh yeah, she's right in the field over there.
Oh, I see. Oh, he's doing it right here. Right here. Back to me. Yep, you got it. Oh. There's some dynamic wind.
Wow, look at that. Woo! I mean, you guys are an idiot hero, but okay.
It's wrapping up.
I mean, you learned your windows are...
Right in front of me!
Your windows are down.
I got it.
This is not a particularly dangerous tornado.
A lot of debris in here! Right there. Right there. Little vortices going. Just a million things going on. Back to the northwest!
You guys are definitely in it.
Big time tornado thing! Look at it go!
Now, there you go. That's what you need.
Tornado's been trying to set down over a large area, but it hasn't fully planted yet. And we know something big is coming.
About gotta look really quick here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all little vortices.
Base. Look at it spin, you guys! Yeah, sirens are going. We got the spin right above us. See the clear siren all the way around? It's trying to produce again right on top of us. Look!
Maybe
whole
get
thing is
inside your
spinning.
TIV then.
Look at the tail cloud feeding in. That was some kind of a...
Yeah, that keeps happening, man, over here.
Look over there.
I don't know what it's happening. I guess
It's
a
just
tornado
jumbling
maybe
all
over
over
there.
the place. It could be tilted. Let's go! That was a tornado. Yep. I just had to verify this spin above us. There it is! Go. It's still wrapping up. Yeah, look right in front of us. Oh!
Yeah, got it.
Ooh, weird.
Man, you guys are just having a great time.
Well, we're just playing tornado whack-a-mole right now.
Yeah, you guys
They're just
really
kind
are.
of doing one thing over there, and
With
then
some
you see it happening
vortices.
over there. So maybe it's trying to gain equilibrium, but we've just been getting I got dirt all over me. Yeah. Look at this. Yeah, back to the northwest.
Oh, the Professor King, thank you for the 5. If you need to know about tornado chasers in normal weather, check out Ryan Hall. He's pretty good. Ryan Hall, y'all. He does live streams about these storms. Yes, he does, as well as Max Velocity, Reed Timmer. Trust me, I have the weather autism.
Trying to consolidate all that dirt. And go left, further left.
Oh, hello. that could do it. Oh, we got wind wrapping around.
That's wrapping all the way up to the base, you guys. Look at it.
Oh, I think this is going to be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have her.
Vortex to the left of it.
Oh, wow.
Here it comes.
Without the rocket today, we need to be directly inside this to measure data.
Oh yeah.
Here she comes.
That's doing it.
Pressure 910.
Wow.
Window down.
Look at that.
Oh wow, she's a dusty one. Right in front of us!
Yeah, pressure 909.
Big circulation in front of us! Look at it!
Got it.
Doing it. Oh, look at that. Your right side.
Guys, it's very low pressure.
Yep, that's happening.
Wow.
No, it's off. Wow, that's so
You want it right here.
What is happening?
We have so much dirt and manure in here. Yeah.
Is that what look at the train being pulled in and dust behind it.
Wow. Yeah, it's wrapping up, guys.
Yeah, you know, I have far too many viewers in tornado-prone areas, and it fucking scares the shit out of me. Like, seriously, there's like 8 of you that are regulars that, like, whenever these storms start popping off, I'm like, oh god, I hope so-and-so doesn't fucking die.
Going berserk, I get back ahead of it.
The storm jumps the Missouri River at 40 miles an hour and quickly intensifies.
Yeah, the aliens from that exoplanet have arrived. Yeah. Help Mindy in here!
As we close in again, a tornado emergency is issued, a particularly dangerous situation, and this one is headed for Essex, Iowa.
Holy cow!
So if you can see here, that's where we're at with that blue icon there, and we've just been basically getting kissed by this thing for the past 20 minutes.
Maybe wrapped in rain now, right?
There's your velocity.
Oh, great. So it's nocturnal and it's ring wrapped? Fuck.
Yeah, it's big time. Big time tornado.
That's not good.
I think I can hear it almost. Are we in his path?
Yeah.
It's got to be real close, right?
It's going to be in front of us, if anything here.
What? What's left? There it is!
Right in front of us.
Big time
Be
tornado!
careful.
Keep shooting it out there, Carson! Yeah, the radar.
Holy shit.
Right there, that's it. That's definitely it. About to get in it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Windows up?
Yep. Yep.
Camera's down! Camera's out! Out of the car? No, it's in the window! Go back down! Back down!
Yeah, it might be moving a little bit towards us.
Yeah. All right, we're getting in the ditch here. You on?
Yep.
Hey, I'm just gonna drop it quick. Gotta go all the way down.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. There it is.
Holy crap.
Oh, wow. That thing's crazy.
Turn it, air back up.
Yeah, we got it.
Wow, you
We had
guys,
two?
that was pretty damn close.
Oh,
It's a really big tornado.
RFD. It lifted a little bit. It's a fuse. Kind of a multi-vortex. It is.
If anyone in the town of Hepburn, they got to take shelter right now. It's going right towards Hepburn.
Hepburn, take shelter. Big time tornado in progress here.
Yeah, that's a
It
big
is
wedge.
still in progress. I can see the left edge. Not moving very fast. We're ahead of it again.
Oh my god, look at that fucking monster. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, she's mean. She's very mean looking.
We're ahead of it again.
As fast as it started, this tornado lifts, with
Oh,
no
see,
injuries
it's moving. What the
reported.
I just feel like watching on radar these big,
gone.
massive tornadoes, when they move slow, they eventually kind of, I mean, it's not the rule, but they seem to turn left at the end of their cycle or when they're done.
As they get separated from the mezzo, they just feel the low-level jet.
Essex got lucky.
Yeah, went north of Essex. This has been a crazy
Wow,
day.
that's lucky.
Oh, jeez.
Should I spray some Rogers and Goulet?
Yes, so spray some Rogers and
We need
Goulet.
the Rogers and Goulet.
900 miles south, the biggest day yet is brewing in Texas. So we pick up
God, how do
Rocket
you guys
Man
have
Will in
more?
Oklahoma and head south.
Will stayed up all night 2 nights ago, drinking like 30 Dr. Peppers, and he was able to engineer our sensors that we're going to launch into the tornadoes today.
The risk area is huge and oddly shaped. A convective risk area. You can see that it is excited
Wow, that's
to
huge.
see us. We'll have
Hey, buddy, calm down.
2 stages. In the evening, we'll be up in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro. But for now, we're way out west,
It's already got a
Okay.
mesocyclone out near Sterling City.
where things are accelerating fast.
And it looks like it's rapidly organizing just off to our southeast. We're going to go about 5 miles and launch the drone so that you can see it. Oh, yeah. It is rotating. Yep. Here we go. Look at that clear slot wrap all the way around south. You guys can see that clear slot wrapping all the way around. We're looking right at it. We're about to get a tornado, guys. Look at it. We might be launching on this thing too, but I think it might even try to stay west of the road.
Our rocket has a range of about 3/4 of a mile, so we need this to come close to one of the few roads out here.
Oh, is that condensation? Yep. Guys, got a tornado! On the ground, report it! Tornado happening. On the ground, right there, you can see the spin. That is on the ground, guys. That's a big time tornado.
You think we
Yeah,
can hit
big
that,
one.
Will? That thing is crazy.
Yeah, but it may not reach the road. I don't think we're gonna get a better spot right here.
There is this up here a little bit.
Right. Another road?
Yeah.
We got another road, guys, we can take. Gotta try to get it. This is the road?
Yeah, this is it.
All right, guys, let's go get it.
Oh my god,
Hey,
so
it's
you
gonna be a
guys
right turn
serious?
coming up here.
I'll try to get us in the inflow
I
region.
mean, okay. Oh
1
wow,
mile.
look at that thing.
Going through the tree.
You guys are so off-road.
Hey, this is getting real rocky here.
Alright, I got you guys.
Pop an airbag if we go too fast.
Any east option off this?
No.
All right, it's a big wedge though. Look at that.
Oh my
It's
God.
a giant wedge.
Watch it, right? Watch it.
It's a beast.
Wow.
That's a massive tornado, you guys.
Road's gonna run out. Hold up.
We're out of road, but we're much closer than where we were.
You think we can get it? I don't know if we can get that far.
I don't know. I think we should try. Just sitting out there. All right, here we go.
Can you?
Launch imminent. It's fully mature.
My God, I mean,
The sensor is in the cone of the rocket, and now sending live data, but the tornado's still far off.
What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna make it that far, and I don't want to have to go recover. Man, I wish we could get closer.
We could try. I think it'll make it.
All right, we're gonna do it.
Probably a mile out there though. 2 miles out. It's like 2 miles
Should
out.
I go more up or more toward?
More up. 45. I would do a 45. Wow.
What a dynamic pipe.
well, I mean, they're gonna try, I guess.
Whoa.
It's too far
That's
away.
Amazing. It's 2.3 miles out.
Well, I mean, I got at least a 30-minute reset if we launch. Just saying. So
Okay. What do you think?
I'm not feeling this
Too
one.
far out.
It might be too far
far
out.
out.
I think it's too far out. I
Yeah,
don't
too
want
far out.
to. I don't want to waste our load on
It's
this
too
one.
far out. Nope, we're not
Like,
gonna launch
remember,
it.
like those D engine for those model rockets, or even if you have your own custom model rocket engines, which you can make yourself, you're only gonna get I mean, it's right over the edge. Like, I could see it maybe going a mile, maybe 1.2 miles. But, like, 2.3 miles is just way too far away. Way too far
Found
away.
the tornado. Would you just look at it? That's all we could do.
250 miles east, things are starting to ramp up on our secondary target by Dallas, giving one last chance for a launch. But we have to get moving.
Dude, it did. Look at it wrap all the way up into that.
You
It's
can
starting
hear
to
it.
show.
Whoa. Damn, look at that wrap.
Look at that.
Cool looking.
There it is. It's gonna wrap out.
A tornado watch is issued ahead of a line of storms.
Effectively as well, and we're gonna chase this convective line
And
into the
they're
evening
officially above 4K.
and see if we can take a tornado out of the dark.
You guys better be
Activating
fucking careful.
night mode.
Night hunting tornadoes.
Here's their position.
Doesn't sound great.
They're
You're
moving
in Fort
here.
Worth,
The
okay.
storm is moving up this way, so here they will meet. And it seems like the guys are going to be there in time, but we're going to start getting into some rain.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make it, but we could run out of gas at any second, so not sure yet. 1 mile.
All right.
1 mile till empty. We'll just have to get gas at that place.
1 mile
4
from running out
miles.
of diesel.
There's no gas at
No
this
way.
exit, right? I'm looking right
0
now.
miles to east.
Nope, we have to go to that one.
All right,
The pilot.
we'll get gas at that intersection. We are pumping up with diesel right now, but it's headed right at us, so there's the sirens.
Yep. Everybody's inside, crammed in the bathrooms.
Oh, really?
They're like locking the doors and stuff.
Oh my gosh. But if you're in Weatherford, you need to be in your safe place. Everybody in this gas station's taking shelter.
They're all in the bathrooms.
Huddled in the bathroom right now.
Yeah, she's like, safest place is in the bathroom. Go, go. I was like, no.
No, we're going
Safest
in.
place in a Dominator. We're driving into it.
We're in perfect position on this storm to launch the rocket.
Should be looking right at it, if anything here. Yeah, we should be looking at it. Facing.
That's it. You can see the hook-like appendage right on the south side. That's where we expect the tornado to happen. You can definitely tell the storm's feeling the wind shear. We're right here in the forward flank downdraft, right up in front of it. There's the rotation, tightening up big time too. Look at that. Large wedge on the ground right now.
Okay,
now with
wedge
this.
on the ground.
We're probably gonna launch on this one. We're probably gonna launch. Guys, we need to get the drone up, I think. But Will can keep working on the rocket.
Doing all right? It's heading right this way. Yes, sir. It's gonna be coming from that direction, heading right this way right now. Yeah.
How far west?
I gotta grab the drone.
Oh my god.
Maybe just a mile or two.
All right, I might just stay out the hatch and hold the rocket. I already got it mounted.
Okay, then get in real fast. We gotta go launch. We'll be right back.
All right, got the drone.
Okay, are they gonna launch this time?
I don't know. It's about a mile and a half south of the road. We're screaming,
Okay,
right?
that's better.
Yeah.
Wait for it
I would
Launch here?
consider that
Get ready.
in range.
Right on it.
Rapid rotation. It might be hovering just. Oh, there's that debris.
Will's outside.
You see it, Will?
Do what?
You see it?
No. Not looking, though.
That's gotta be it. Yeah, there's the breeze.
Oh yeah, there she is. She's right there.
All right, I'm ready whenever.
Okay. Let's try to go west of us.
Watch out, Will's outside.
Out the window, remember? Are you okay, Will?
So it's...
Fasten in front of us. Break curtains. Right in front of us. Launch it, Will.
Launch it, launch it, launch it. There she goes, there she goes.
It's in it. Get here we go. Debris. Use this truck as a shield. Go beyond the truck. It'll get in. It got in there. That is in the tornado, you guys.
Okay, he got it in.
If you want to turn around.
That's what she said.
For the sun. Yeah, we are. It's up there somewhere. Yeah, it's up there.
Nice.
With
Very
emergency
nice.
services on the case and the tornado lifting further off, we end the chase shortly after.
Nice job, you guys. Wow.
Yeah.
That was
a little chaotic for about 6 minutes. Oh, wait,
That was pretty good. Of course, we won't see their data for a while, but that was pretty good. That was some pretty big tornadoes. All right, we now have 2 more videos left. And we're reacting to a rare Tectone video. Posted 9 days ago. Tectone titles this video, "The Bao Situation is fucking insane." Let's see what's going on.
YouTuber fans here. Bao just got exposed and called out hard by so many people. And one of my moderators sent me a hyper compilation. So like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate all their hard work. And join me on rumble.com/Tectone at 9 a.m. CST to get your daily dose of slop. So, Sykkuno was caught cheating. Yes, that was confirmed. He cheated on his girlfriend of 5 years. Very f***ed up. However, people are now calling him a dangerous predator because he did exactly
Well,
what...
you know, I will say, in a week since this video has been posted, I will say people have backed off largely from that accusation. There's still a few people trying to fucking, you know, hold the line, but like largely the debate has been lost by the people who have been trying to label this dude as a quote-unquote dangerous predator.
Women wanted him to do. You can call Sykkuno a cheater, you can't call him a dangerous predator, but you know how women do. They gotta exaggerate shit because they gotta make sure everybody's listening. So now we all gotta act like Sykkuno's a fucking mass predator. They can't just say that they're bitter and they wanted them to date him, but now that they can't, let's just ruin his entire life. A tale as old as time. A lot of men have experienced that. So XQC goes off defending against Sykkuno's predator claims because they're complete bullshit. And a lot of people are now starting to question Bao. Because Bao put out a year ago, if you're an...
Yeah, but I thought that had to do with Mizkiv. I didn't think it had to do with Sykkuno. Actually, Sukino, or was it Mujin? I remember this being a vague post and it being like, I can't really understand. I really don't understand this particular text from Bao. I really don't think it was specifically calling out Sykkuno. I think people just kind of made that link after the fact because it's very easy to link it up after the fact. But I don't think it was who she was talking about.
Up-and-coming female content creator with a small but growing audience and a much larger and successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc. Don't walk, run. Now here's why Bao is full of shit. That didn't happen, Bao. And you know that didn't happen. These women reached out to him first.
Which is true, but again, I don't think she's talking about Sykkuno. I really don't. Like, call me crazy, and maybe I am, but I think she was talking about somebody else. People ham-fisted the Sykkuno argument, and Bao just went with it because everyone, oh my god, yeah, that's what she meant.
And
It was most likely indeed Psychono, though doubly applied to misgive due to coincidental timing. I think Bao said it later in her Discord. Oh, really? I mean, I guess that's what I get for giving people the benefit of the doubt, but... Wow, that's crazy. If she actually did confirm that that tweet was about Psychono, that's crazy.
Immediately said they wanted to him. If you don't think VTuber horror culture isn't real, then you're wrong.
It is.
Because all of these people who
Okay, first of all, Tectone, I'm sorry. I have to look at this real quick. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. Hold on. I said 44, 54. 60. 70. 80. 90. 103 tabs. Yes, I just autistically counted how many tabs I can see now, and obviously that's not all of them. Because there's his face in the way of the rest of his freaking thing. But what I can count, I got to 103 before I lost count because his bald head is in the way. That's too many tabs, my dude.
parade themselves around as scantily clad slut whore VTubers. All of them are looking to suck and fuck in real life because they're mid in real life.
I mean, look, all I know is most VTubers who have ended up face revealing or had had their face revealed, I wouldn't describe most of those as mid. And if we're gonna go with if we were just to apply the ratio here with what we know and what we've seen from what has been exposed, I don't think that argument really stands on its own anymore. Lao's doc apparently makes it clear that the Bao tweet was referencing Sicano at Minurk. Okay, wow. Kind of disagree with that. Yeah, no, so do I, Ravenfire. And also, thank you, Magmafox, for confirming that, yes, wow, okay, that Bao was apparently referencing Sicano.
And they get the attention of other people saying, wow, look at this VTuber model. And then they get you by catfishing the fuck out of you with all these cute anime girl voices. And that's why the VTuber sleep around horror culture is so high. And that is why even, yes, I have been offered sex by 3 different VTubers, as well as there's a VTuber who went around bragging about sucking my dick when I never even met the bitch. Want to know why that didn't suck?
Alright, bro. Calm down just a little bit, I think. I'm guessing the so-called guard dog of VTubering was a pit bull. Oh wait, it's begun. Yeah, no, it has begun. By 3! OMG, 311 apparently. Yeah, I would feel like someone with Tectone's popularity, shouldn't those offers be more than just 3? I'm just saying. Also, not sure that it's even true, but I'm not gonna ask him to show DMs because that'd be fucking weird.
My dick because that motherfucker is ugly as fuck. And you know who I'm talking about. Everybody, so many people are fucking hoes and so many people are fucking liars. And that's the God's honest truth. If Bao knew about Sykkuno a year ago, why is the girlfriend finding out now? Because these people don't know nearly as much.
So, we actually have confirmation, and I think it came out after this video was released. But Sykkuno came out with a statement, and his girlfriend came out with a statement, and it was pretty much confirmed that, The girlfriend already knew about the cheating, and they were trying to work through it privately. None of the girls who quote-unquote exposed Sukino actually reached out to the girlfriend to see how they were doing or to, like, you know, get their okay or anything like that. So we already know that, like, this was not something that was done for interests of protecting the girlfriend.
As what they claim, and they just want to appear morally virtuous. Guys, we all know Bao is a virtue signaler, and I feel awful as a person who pretty much gave Bao their career when I incentivized them to go full-time over 4 years ago. But it is what it is, and they will say anything and everything to make that shit stick. We have another post. The only thing this like.
Well, this was okay, Xiaozhou. This was after they knew who they were, because several of the girls involved with this accusation fully knew that he had a girlfriend and actually knew who it was. So don't try to act like this girlfriend was kept under lock and key and nobody knew who, you know, she even existed. One or two of the girls did.
Kuno thing proved to me is that Mugen is untrustworthy. Because what do you mean you had a whole hour-long video already almost immediately after this girl's Google Doc dropped? Nah, don't trust Mugen. And you know what Mugen could have done? Got Sykkuno's perspective. But do you know what he didn't do? Didn't get that. You want to know why? Because nobody wanted to get Sykkuno's perspective, because all Mugen does is just tell the public what they want to hear. There's no follow-up videos, there's no nuance, and that's why he's the moist critical of the VTuber space. He's not here to do research. He's not here to give you the facts. He's here to
Did you just throw shade at Moist Critical? That's kind of weird. I would not call Mugen the Moist Critical of VTubers. I would call Mugen the tabloid, you know, the TMZ of VTubers. You know, Charlie just goes on, he likes to talk and give his opinion on things, but he never comes across as somebody reporting, you know, and exposing dangerous people and all this. No, he hasn't done that in a hot minute since, like, the Sneeko shit, I'm pretty sure. But no, he gets on, he does reviews of shit he watches, he fucking watches police chases and stuff like that. I'm sorry, but Mugen compared to Moist Critical just doesn't make sense to me.
give you what they want to give you. And that's the God's honest truth.
PT Moon,
Now, let's
you
keep
have a
going
good
here.
one.
Next. I see this was in the works for a long time and coordinated. It's very true. It's the same thing with the Cinder documentary that Mugen did, that Bao also helped with. They only got one perspective. They didn't wait for the other perspective. They didn't.
So it's nice about waiting for the other perspective. I would say a negative of waiting for the other's perspective is if you wait for the other person's perspective, you know, and you actually reach out, you get that perspective, you have now lost to all the people who didn't wait for that perspective, right? They're going to get on that news cycle, get on it faster than you, and oh my god, you've lost relevancy. But I assure you, if you're somebody who actually goes out to get the other person's perspective, interview them, do whatever, and do your due diligence as any kind of journalist or quote-unquote reporter, you know, that Mugen obviously tries to act to be. I think if you actually, you know, while it might take longer, and it might take quite a bit longer, you coming out with all of the relevant information is going to do far more for your credibility than being the first to break the story.
Wait for the whole story. They put out a hit piece, they ruin someone's life, and then they move forward, and if there's
Xiaoju, I'm gonna ask that you glow in chat, please.
any incorrect information, they will never correct it because, well, the public liked my video, and that's all that matters. And it's the same thing that happened with the pirate software information. Yes, Thors did some fucked up things. However, Pirate did a lot of good things that other people did bad things to him for. Kind of side-eyeing this whole thing pretty hard right now. You dropped a 1 hour and 59 minutes after it was public. It's very interesting. Yes, if you don't think these VTuber attacks are coordinated, you are sorely mistaken. Is Mugen coordinating hit pieces now? The original post was at 9 a.m. Eastern, and he realized this full video a mere 2 hours later. That doesn't sit.
So he released his video 59 minutes after the document dropped. Which means, for anyone who knows is in content creation, for him to release a video in a 1080p minimum, HD freaking resolution, that an upload speed of, and I'm giving him a generous one because I'm basing it off of my Starlink, and my Starlink has some goddamn amazing upload speed. It would take me about 40, maybe 55 minutes to upload a 3.7 gigabyte video file at that quality and resolution at that time length. And I'm talking about an hour and 7 minutes, however long it ended up being. This tells me that Mugen probably posted his, started the upload of his video around the time that the document was actually posted. I'm talking around minutes.
Right with me, deserved or not.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you
pre-planned.
can't call yourself someone who gets the facts right when you only get one perspective, when you don't confirm things, and you even perpetuate lies like calling Sykkuno a predator. Called him a predator, cheater,
It is interesting because I'm noticing chat mentioning this. Mizu questioned the narrative against Cinder and Tectone condemned him. Tectone just doesn't like Mizu anyway. Absolutely right. But it is interesting to see that Tectone seems to have changed his opinion on the Cinder situation without explicitly stating it, right? Because we all know that Tectone was one of the people who instantly took the side of Nanolis and all the girls who put together that fucking hit piece to take Cinder down. We know he fucking he took that side because that was when he went on his whole guard dog of VTubing thing. So even though he has I haven't seen him come out and be like, you know what? After further reflection, I've come to realize that no, Cinder was done dirty, blah, 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 blah. He's never, offered an official retraction of his statements and his views on the Cinder situation. He is a little bit of a wind vane. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he definitely is. Mizu, as in Mizu Tamari. Yeah, the blue one, the puddle one that I do autism with on Wednesdays.
Manipulator exposed in front of the whole internet, but still wants him. Ref, do something. Let's watch this clip. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Oh my god! Bro, she didn't even initiate that we're never gonna talk again. She was thinking about it, but this nigga's like, nah, man, you're done. Bro! Bro! No!
Who's this guy in the corner? He's losing his mind. It's making me laugh, but I don't know who that is. Is that Evan Needle? No, that's not Evan Needle.
No!
Bro, calm down. Take a breath. Take a breath. It's okay.
Bro, no.
Bro.
What? Why?
Is that not why?
What is why? I'm still upset with you, but you didn't cheat on me. You can still talk to me and be, make up for your actions. Don't get me wrong. I always am for second chances. But I never...
This is another example of a woman being scorned, a woman who is still in love with a man and decided to perpetuate and make the story worse because Sykkuno decided to do the right thing and never talk to them again, but she didn't want that. So what did she do? She went on the internet and she fucking lied and called him a disgusting, dangerous, manipulative predator because she realized she lost her shot at dating the man that she loved. I'm sorry, guys. This is not the first time. This is not the last time a woman will lie because they're scorned in a relationship and give him career-ending allegations just because they still wanted the dick. And everybody knows it.
Okay, hold on. What does it say? I'm pretty sure Rayma after looking into it, came to the same conclusion that a lot of us did. I think Alara is one of the VTubers that did not. And can't fuck Sykkuno, but not in the good way that they were trying to. But let's see what Rima's saying here. Sykkuno, I swear 99% of drama should be solved by people talking to each other, especially in a lot of the VTuber space. I feel like people would rather spend 10 years writing a Google Doc than spending 5 minutes trying to actually solve the problem with each other. Yeah, no, absolutely. I will say that. That's actually just a valid point. And I know this because I'm currently working on videos, and next installment of my Getting Things Straight video series. You know, the first one was on Bungo Tag. I have another one on one of the BBA house coming up. But I don't know. It just every time I do an investigation, I look into one of these docs or one of these series of documents, it always ends up boiling down to, so you're telling me that this could have been fucking resolved if you just talked to the person like a goddamn adult.
Saikuno, another clip from Rima Evenstar. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Craziest stuff. And I swear like 99% of drama can be, not even can be, should be solved by people talking to each other. Like, I feel like, especially, oh man, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, look, most drama should be solved by opening up a dialogue and actually working out your problems rather than, you know, airing your dirty laundry to everybody.
I shouldn't say anything. Maybe I shouldn't say anything, but I'm gonna say, especially in a lot of the VTubing space, I feel like people would rather spend 10 years writing a Google Doc than spending 5 minutes trying to actually solve the problem with each other. But
And yeah, that's obvious hyperbolization. I mean, if there's something that's big enough that's drama that I have to resolve in DMs, right? It almost always has taken longer than 5 minutes. It usually takes at least a few hours, if not a day or two, you know, to resolve a situation that I'm having with another person. It is still far faster and far less painful than a public outing, sure, but it does not only take 5 minutes, and I will give you that much, Joe. It's not 5 minutes of talking and, oh yeah, we fixed it. It's quite a bit more effort and quite a bit more time invested to fix a situation via the dialogue option. But I do still think that opening up a dialogue is a far more healthy manner of dealing with drama than trying to do a public outing.
Yes, it's because they
Shut up. I meant hyperbolization. Shut up.
don't actually care about the problem. They just want to obliterate somebody's lives for views, just like every other content creator. And guys, I'll be real. Do you want to know why my videos get 100,000 views instead of 1 million views? Because I'm not here to tell you guys what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you guys the truth. I'm here to tell you an unbiased perspective and actually find out what actually happened rather than what.
My thing, though, is that if Sekino was indeed a chronic cheater who gets into DMs of other girls in the VTuber sphere, should he not be exposed to warn people and give him social consequences? Sure, if he was the one sliding into those persons' DMs, but he wasn't. These girls were sliding into his DMs, sometimes on Valentine's Day. They were approaching him, he was not approaching them. I would actually completely agree with you that under yours scenario that yes, some measure of social consequences would be necessary, but that's not what happened. That's just speculative, and it's actually going, oh, well, what if? Well, no, that's not what happened. No, he did it in a couple instances. Yeah, okay, but it was not every instance. Not the 7, that's already been disproven. That's already been disproven. We're not going to throw the fucking minor fucking situation around. I will ban you from my chat. I will absolutely ban you from my chat for that shit.
What you guys want to hear has happened. And that is why I get punished on YouTube. And even still, we're killing it because every single day, more people actually start to care about reality rather than living in interesting fiction.
Shiojo? Final warning.
I mean, maybe it's not about solving the problem. Maybe that's not the solution here.
Yep.
There's no specific situation I can think of. It's just something I randomly have seen before. And that's the most I'll say about it. As you guys know, I don't really like talking about that, and low-key, I'm not informed enough to even really talk about it. But I do think, from the ones I've seen, it seems as though people will spend more time writing on a page than actually trying to talk to people and solve whatever problem they have.
And guess what? Saikuno cheated on people. Yes, he.
Yes, Saikuno is a piece of shit for cheating. Let's like even everyone in the chat, let's make that statement clear. He's a piece of shit for cheating. but he is not a dangerous predator. And what we saw was a coordinated effort to ruin someone's reputation online in a way to deplatform them, make them to where they can't make money. It's a life ruination campaign over cheating. And I'm sorry, cheating should not equal your life is ruined. It's not an extreme enough, like, offense to me to just fucking ruin somebody's life and their livelihood and label them a dangerous predator because they're a cheater. They're a cheater that's piece of shit. That should be enough.
Did. And now, thanks to everybody for calling him a predator, people are going to have his back tremendously in this situation because these fucking women can't stop lying. When you're going to cancel someone, do it right with the truth. Stop making shit up. Sykkuno would have had no sympathy if you just said, Sykkuno cheated, I'll prove he cheated, look right here. But instead, you have to perpetuate and exacerbate and exaggerate the situation. And now, guess what?
I think exposing Sykkuno as a cheater is completely appropriate. You know, look, exposing him as a cheater is enough to ruin his life without going farther and applying criminal implications to him. AKA, oh, the girl lying about her age when she said she was 17 and then we fucking find out through some internet sleuthing that no, she was not fucking 17. And the fact that she didn't even start messing with him and they didn't start doing anything until they were in the 20s. It was clear framing that was messed up, dangerous predator, fucked up framing. If they had just said, hey, Sykkuno, you're a piece of shit cheater, here's the proof that you cheated, everyone be aware that this guy is a cheater. If he shows up in your DMs, understand he's a cheater. Boom. There you go. Your life ruination campaign is complete and you have not stepped over the line. That is my issue here, is the instances in which they stepped over the line in which they did not need to. And yes, they can be considered legally liable for some of the things that they have said. You have to be very careful with labeling people dangerous predators.
Kuno's going to come back to streaming, and he's probably going to be better off than he was because everybody can't tell the fucking truth. Let's keep going here. Sykkuno has only been absolutely lovely to me, so this news is devastating. Same, Sykkuno has been nothing but a peach to me. I think some people assume predator equals pedophile, so they dismiss his actions as a nothing burger because they're comparing it to something worse. Typical illiterates. No. Calling someone a sexual predator or a predator means that they are preying on young, innocent content creators. Demi, he didn't do that. These mothers reached out to him and said, I want to have sex with you. Wait, you had a girlfriend? Oh, that's okay. We can still have sex. No? Oh, you raped me. That's why no.
I think that's a bit reductionist of what happened, especially with some of the women. I do know there's like one or two women that that's pretty much what happened. They slid into his DMs. He reciprocated. They freaking got together. They had some stuff. They found out that he had a girlfriend and decided to freak out because he wouldn't leave his girlfriend. Said, but I do know the icy girl, you know, and I think one other, yeah, he was just a womanizer. He was a cheater, and that should be absolutely, he should be put on blast for that. But not anything more than that. You can't tie criminal implications to the man.
Nobody's taking this shit seriously because you can't.
It is a little reductive, but I can at least understand the comparison. Yeah, but I have to be, yeah, I agree with Tectone being reductionist. Yeah, no, I have to, I'm trying to be fair here, I'm not trying to give, more weight to one side of the argument than the other. And if Tectone is going to be a little bit reductionist or hyperbolic and fucking whatever, if he's going to use hyperbole in his examples, I gotta call him out just as I would call out the other side doing the same. How'd they not know? Didn't he have his girlfriend on stream, or was it after? I would have to look at the timeline closer than that.
Just stick to the fucking facts. Let's be real. Everyone knows Bao is a thought. Sleeping around the block is pretty typical for VTubers.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, no, lying about lacking the girlfriend to Mal is absolutely not okay. But it's not something that makes him a dangerous predator. I know, look, and I know I keep saying this, but it's very important because the internet seems to not understand nuance. So I'm going to fucking pound that nuance into your head with a fucking hammer if I have to.
True! Big true! Especially bigger, so who's surprised? If you obsess over a VTuber, just become a streamer with some decent success and they'll come trying to suck you for a bit of fame. Let's be real. Anybody who's been to a VTuber party understands the moment a man walks in those parties, these women look at him like a piece of meat and will dry. Case in point, there's a very prominent female VTuber that had sex with one of my buddies, and my buddy was so horrified of the sex, he had to close his eyes and pretend to come just to make it stop. Yup, these VTubers are way too horny. Because they're mid in real life. To some of y'all, that's going to sound great. Like, oh man, don't threaten me with a good time. I know, guys, I know. This would have aged better if she wasn't the one approaching male content creators begging to suck them off. Truth nuke! Bao was right. No, they weren't. And if you are a retard, you'll be saying this shit, but Bao was actually wrong because Sykkuno wasn't the guy who approached him. A lot of you owe Bao an apology. No, you don't. This is how rampant the VTuber Twitter community is.
Hypothetical question. Is it possible to perceive libel or slander as predation on a person? It depends. Oh, God, I hate that I just give the fucking Lair answer every fucking time. It does depend, though. Malicious or targeted defamation, you know, like to a public individual where you hold, you know what you are trying to claim is untrue, but you decide to, with a negligent disregard for the truth, spread it anyway with intent to ruin someone's reputation. I guess you could consider that predatory or predatory in nature, but like, again, this is why you have to be careful because predatory, a predator or what dangerous predator, sexual predator, these are all terms that the courts take very seriously, and you can't just decide to apply the most beneficial definition of predator, for instance, and use that as a defense in court, because the courts understand that connotation exists, and connotative meaning versus denotative meaning is completely different. They understand that, which is why we have terms like reasonable person, because a reasonable person of the 1800s is completely different than a reasonable person of the 1950s, but by having the applicant of reasonable person, we don't have to be super specific in our wording of these laws, and they can actually stand the test of time, because the term reasonable person is what changes over time, and you don't have to worry, you know, oh, this person thinking like this is like, okay, well, people don't think like that anymore because it's not the 1800s. Well, then what do? Well, you come up with something, term like reasonable person, because that will change connotatively through the ages.
With misinformation and perpetuating lies because they won't research shit and they'll just say what they think people want to hear. They don't care. It was the same thing with Atsu's suicide note.
Bro, look. If this is all we're gonna do, I think I'm about done. Like, I don't mean to, like, cut you off or anything, buddy, but, like, you're just, I don't know. I think you're too loud. Look, I get angry about these situations too, sure. But, now you're just kind of rambling around in circles, and it's not even call-outs of Bao that are anything that I can quantify appropriately. You saw that the general opinion of the internet has shifted against Bao, and you have decided to capitalize on that and create content from it. You know, I'd be alright if the video was actually calling out Bao with receipts and shit like that, but that's not what's really happening. Yeah, people, you know, clapping back on Twitter with, you know, fucking, yeah, oh, cleverly phrased fucking words, but it's not anything based in, you know, fact, reality, or actually impeaching what Bao was apparently trying to push. So, we're done with that video. He is too tiresome. Yeah, I can never sit through a whole Tectone video. Sorry. I get pretty much, I get what you're trying to say within the first half, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. Which means, I don't know. I mean, maybe he can look at his analytics and see that, hey, you know, most people understand what you're trying to say and are pretty much tired of hearing it at about, you know, the 7 to 10 minute mark of your what is this? 17-minute video. You know, I'm good with half of it. I think if he's going to target someone, he should be quoting them directly instead of vaguely paraphrasing. I absolutely agree with you, Shao Joe. That's part of why we're okay. Someone just walked on in. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm back, sorry about that. I am back, and we are moving on to our last video of the night. Before, remember, tonight we're actually going to be in 1 hour and 39 minutes. We will be on Rumble, and we will be showcasing the final 4 episodes of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. From there, next week of our Elfpire watches with Mama Oko, we're actually going to be streaming on YouTube, where we will start the Amazing Digital Circus, and we'll start reacting to that on the YouTube streams next week. So, if you're interested in more Elfpire content, don't forget to join us on Rumble tonight. And we will be finishing off, you know, one of the greatest animes of all time, in my opinion. And then we'll, of course, be moving on to more fun stuff. Yes, on YouTube, because the Amazing Digital Circus is allowed to be streamed on YouTube and reacted to on YouTube. So, that's nice. I can't do reactions on Kick anymore, because literally Kick staff came in and said, hey, you're not allowed to do this, shut down your stream. And I'm like, okay, sorry about that. So I'm sorry to whoever wants me to stream more on Kick. I'm a little gun shy when it comes to streaming on Kick, because a staff member literally fucking came in and told me to stop doing what I was doing, which is something I thought was within the realms of the rules. So, you know, little wonder Mama Oko hate Tectone. Yeah, no, I don't hate Tectone. There's very few people in this world that I hate. But, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Tectone, you know? He makes valid points, he makes invalid points. He makes reasonable takes, he makes fucking schizo takes. But, you know, I take it, you know, one case at a time. One event at a time. I will listen to his opinion, and whether or not I dismiss it is dependent upon how schizo it sounds, you know? And there's plenty of schizo Tectone takes that I have dismissed because they sound fucking crazy. Hate's a strong word. No, exactly. There's very few people I hate. What the hell is that SPLC? Kick sucks, you can't even mention the SPLC there. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Hedge is a strong word, and I save it for Tectone. Mama Oko, welcome to the chat. I was just telling him we're gonna be on Rumble in a little bit. We are reacting to a final video here. It is an Uncle Roger video, which is I haven't seen in a while. For those who don't know, I fucking rock making fried rice. I make some badass fried rice. We watched back when in my PNG tuber days. We watched not Jamie Oliver, excuse me, Uncle Roger reacting to Jamie Oliver making fried rice. I think it was one of his first fried rice videos, and I've never seen a man fuck up an Asian dish more than I did then. But today, apparently, Jamie Oliver decided to take another crack at fried rice in an attempt to make Korean fried rice. Uncle Roger is reacting to it, and we're going to react to Uncle Roger. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it.
Fried rice.
Korean fried.
I'm sorry, you're putting brisket into Korean fried. Okay. Not the meat I would use in. God, not even the meat the Koreans would use. What the fuck?
Fried rice.
Oh, give me a beer.
Jamie, you can't even make regular fried rice, and now you want to do
Bro,
Korean
there's noodles
version.
in there. Why do I see noodles in its fried rice? What the fuck is going on? What the? Garlic is maybe. Garlic can be white, but it's not always. It's usually yellowish.
Learn to walk before you run. And for this video,
Learn to do something. Yeah, no, for real. Korean fried rice sounds really specific. You would probably have to use specific sauces and stuff. Like Jamie Oliver would use something like sriracha, which sriracha is Vietnamese sauce. It's not a Korean sauce. I imagine you'd have to go with some unique Korean brand in order to get a proper Korean, sauce for this.
I'm just gonna start with my leg down from chair because Jamie olive oil messed up rice so many times. If we do correct, then Uncle Roger put it back up on chair, and we need some
That's not happening.
dramatic light. So is it 3-day or 4-day? People watch this, they're gonna get food poisoning and shit themselves.
Okay, if it's a cooked brisket and your fridge isn't fucking nasty and you have it properly stored, then you could probably have that in the fridge, reheat it, and use it probably, I would say, upwards of 5 days after. But again, that's only if your fridge isn't a fucking mess. You actually have it in a container of its own. There's things you would need to do to make sure that your leftovers keep for a full 5 days, but you could easily get there.
He used
Smoky barbecued sauce.
Smoky barbecue sauce. They're not even Korean.
sauce.
That American barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
And barbecue sauce is sweet. Fried rice not supposed.
Why would you? Yeah, no, fried rice is not supposed to be sweet. It's supposed to be savory, which is why we use shit like soy sauce. And you don't use teriyaki, which is like soy sauce, sugar, and some other stuff, right, to make it sweeter. But you don't put teriyaki in your fucking fried rice.
Supposed to be sweet, it's gonna taste disgusting.
Yeah.
Jamie, how you even think of barbecue sauce? Is he first step wrong? Leg not gonna come back on
Look,
chair.
a barbecue brisket is good, but that's not what we're making here, right? No, I knew it. He was gonna use sriracha. That's Vietnamese. That's not Korean. You're fucking fake. Sorry.
Of chili sauce.
No, that's sriracha. That Vietnamese.
Yeah.
You want red Korean sauce? It gochujang.
There it is. Okay, so yeah, that's like something. Hot pepper paste, gochujang, and it's literally a Korean brand made in Korean. That's what this is what you would need. Not fucking sriracha. Not nice. If you're making Korean fried rice, you should not be putting sriracha in there. That's Vietnam.
That the Korean sauce? You don't just take any random red sauce and call it Korean. This like chili jam mistake all over again. Is this construction worker measurement? Builder's mark? What?
What is this builder's mug? First of all, that's not a builder's mug, because a carpenter or any kind of a builder is going to have a thermos or an otherwise metal cup, because a ceramic fucking mug with pretty little designs on it is going to break on the job site. This is not a builder's mug. This is a pussy's mug.
Measurement you're gonna use next? Painter's bucket. Plumber's boot.
Yeah.
You want to use measurement. Use normal human being measurement. Like,
Sorry, that's so funny. Use the measurements that everybody uses. Instead of fucking, I'm gonna use a builder's mug. Fuck you, man. What is that?
cup. Okay, you either use that or you just say use feeling. Now you're saying builder mug, it not measurement, and it not feeling. Worst of both worlds.
It's actually ceramic. Okay.
Rice straight in water. You don't wash. Now the rice stinky like you, Jamie. You can.
Always wash your rice. Always fucking wash your rice.
Tell Jamie embarrassed by this video. Because niece and nephew, if you live in UK and you click link to this original video in my description, it's gonna say video not available for your country. That right? Jamie Olive Oil trying to hide this shit from you? That's why you need this video sponsor, ExpressVPN, to uncover this cooking disaster. But it's not just YouTube blocking content. Netflix
Oh
do
my
also.
God.
If you live in US, Roger, link in description.
There we go.
And then I'm going to start stir frying it straight away. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm trying to make it a bit sticky. And I want to kind of make it catch a little.
Why are you making rice sticky? This isn't sushi. There's no reason you should be making sticky rice. Fried rice is not supposed to clump up or like mush together. So the fact that you're going for any kind of sticky... No. Fucking damn it. You don't... If you have to drain your rice, you have not cooked your rice right. There should be... Oh god, I hate it so much. You should be able to put the ratio of rice to water to where when it is done cooking, there's no water to drain. It's just fluffy and correct. This isn't right, Texan accountant. Thank you. You understand that this is fucked up. Too bad Jamie Oliver doesn't.
Into a pan and get your garlic and chili.
Way too much fucking oil, and why is it olive oil?
Ugh, the rice still wet as hell.
Oh, man.
Straight from colander.
And that's... Look, he's... If he's putting in that much rice, his pan is too small to handle all of this.
Into pan.
Remember, it's warm, so it'll stay.
Look at that, and it's still warm, like Jamie said. This rice still wet and warm, just like... Sorry, children. Not supposed to be like this. Your fried rice gonna be clumpy. Hiya.
Nice and sticky. Then go in with your cabbage.
Raw cabbage going in.
Oh, come on.
Jamie, if you want cabbage in your Korean fried rice, then just use kimchi. Hiya, kimchi.
Yeah, kimchi
the
would
most Korean thing to use. When you say Korean, you think barbecue sauce, but you don't think kimchi. What logic is this? Kimchi is the perfect Korean cabbage. And don't give it that shit like,
oh, kimchi, very hard to get.
Wrong. You can just buy online these days. If
Yeah,
you can
kimchi is
afford
easy to
packet
find.
rice, you can afford kimchi. Maybe next show Jamie Olive Oil shouldn't be cooking show. It should just be him eating at Asian restaurant. Jamie, come to LA, visit Uncle Roger. I bring you around Koreatown, show you a few things. Open invitation. Don't worry, I'm not gonna poison you.
Where the pan's kind of getting...
And look at that pan. Look at how much shit in that pan. That pan more crowded than
Yeah.
Black Friday.
Good. Then, dude, how are you gonna do this? How are you actually gonna do this?
Right there at Costco. What?
Mint?
What he said?
Did he just say mint?
And if you've got any mint or...
What, coriander? Are you... No, don't... What? The fuck?
coriander around...
Mint and coriander for Korean fried rice.
Jesus.
What? I'm going to eat so many Korean dish. Not a single dish have mint on there. What happened to good old spring onion?
Yeah, spring onions.
Something a bit different.
Every time Jamie Oliver says something a bit different, he just means wrong.
At the end of the day, it just proves that leftovers do not have to be boring.
Man, that was just, I don't know, that was like self-harm or masochism or something, because that was just terrible. But that was the last video that we had to react to today. So thank you very much to everyone who spent the last 3 hours reacting to content with me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as hard as you possibly can, and we will, of course, see you all on the next one. Now, of course, let me figure out who we're going to be rating out into. Well, let's see here. Boom, customization. Redirect. And Oh, Pippa. You know what? Pippa is on, and they're raging about IMAX, which is really funny because it just lends to the idea that it's a theory that I have that Pippa is literally autistic and just can't handle overstimulation. And their rant about IMAX is probably going to check a lot of boxes of autism. So go ahead and check that out, guys. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, Pippa's back.